I'm Mark McIntyre, Chairman of the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation for the Village of Southampton. With me here, Susan Stevenson and Jane Clare, and another board member is on Zoom, Nina Edward Anchor. So that gives us quorum. So with that, I motion to open the November 19th meeting of the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. Also with tonight, our planning director, Alex Wallach. In for Alice Cooley tonight is Ian Cannett from Harris Beach, hailing us for our attorney tonight and our counsel. In the back, we have Jackie always as our recording secretary, and we have Sage as our videographer. So with that, we're ready to roll. Just so for your records, the next meeting is December the 9th, 2024, and that will be the only meeting in December. And then one other thing I want everyone to be aware of. In April, the board passed a policy resolution in April. I just wanted everyone to know that it will be in effect tonight. I'm going to read the parts that I think are germane. Whereas the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation of the Village of Southampton desires to establish a policy to ensure that all wish to be heard with respect to any application should have full opportunity to do so. And whereas the Board of Architecture Review, in order to best facilitate the above, wishes to adopt clear policies and procedures to ensure each public meeting is conducted in a fair and respectful manner, and these policies and procedures should be followed by all who wish to be heard at a bar hop meeting. Whereas the Board of Architecture Review has further determined that establishing certain procedures and policies regarding the conduct of anyone who wishes to be heard by the Board of Architecture Review at each meeting will serve the best interest of the village. Therefore, be it resolved, the policies and procedures here are to be followed by each member of the board, all applicants appearing before the board, and all other interested parties. It's hereby further resolved that while the matters before the board are considered in a public meeting, the traditional rules of evidence followed within a court do not apply. That while the traditional rules of evidence do not apply, applicants and others wishing to be heard are to be advised that the board may preclude portions of a presentation that are overly repetitive or which involve the presentation of irrelevant facts. That all of those wishing to be heard are to address the comments only to the board members, and that the chair may impose reasonable time limitations on presentations made at public meetings and require speakers to provide their names and addresses. Resolved that those wishing to be heard are to be aware that in order for the board to properly address each application or presentation, the manner of each presentation is to remain civil and respectful. That upon the failure of a person being heard by the board to be civil, and such incivility disrupts the orderly taking of testimony or deliberation of the board, the chair or any other member of the board may take steps as it deems appropriate to return any meeting to a level of civility and preserve order, and that such steps may include a warning to such person followed by the board halting the presentation temporarily or adjourning the matter to a future date. Such disruption shall include, but not be limited to, continuous interruptions of the board, staff, applicants, or members of the public, yelling, threats, or any other considered abuse. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Architecture Review hereby adopts this policy, and this policy was dated May 13th, 2024. So these rules will be in effect tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, to the agenda. First thing we have is minute approvals from September 23rd and October 28th. Is Nina here? Yes, there she is. Hi, Nina. Did you guys receive the minutes, and do you have any questions or comments? Okay. Then I'm going to motion we approve the minutes from September 23rd and October 28th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Nina, you in favor? Okay. Any opposed? Okay. The next up is a written decision for Robert Coburn at 345 Hill Street. Did you guys all receive the written decision?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have any questions or comments? For the public, this is a written decision for Robert Coburn that involved putting solar panels on a roof garage in the back of a property. It came before the board 2 meetings ago and was approved by the board to written decision as it's in the historic district. So motion to approve the written decision dated for 35 Hill Street dated November 25th to approve the solar panels and roof on the garage structure. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Great, and if you're able to sign that, I'll have it filed with the village clerk.
Okay. No time like the present. If you'll pass this to Alex for me. Thank you. Okay. Going through next up, we have the matters of signs. We have, I think, 2 in front of us. Sign permits. The first one is from NFP. And since Nina's with us, I am going to put this on the table. That was the original application, and that's the updated. Is anyone here from NFB? Great. Can you get that on the screen for us?
And the staff has asked that you spell your last name,
Sure.
say your name, and give your
Paula
address.
Ruiz, last name Ruiz.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, I attended the last meeting virtually, but for some reason I could not join as a panelist.
Oh,
But that's how I know that we had to reduce the height of the letters.
okay.
We have reduced it from 25 to 18 inches. And I have the drawing here. Should be here.
And if you could also take us through the colors and the materials.
The color is black, and it's made out of acrylic.
Okay. Is it pin mounted on the building?
It's pin mounted,
Okay.
yes. And it's gonna be matte. It's not
Okay.
gonna be glossy.
Okay.
We still don't have it. Where is the building?
32,
The building is 32 Hampton Road.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
32
Thank you.
Hampton Road.
It's the old Morley building.
That's correct.
Okay.
Oh. One more bites the dust.
Okay. Board members, do you have questions or comments?
Well, since I haven't seen it, it would
Oh,
be
what-
something of a problem.
Can I bring it to you?
No, I'll just take this back up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, if you could put that on the screen so Nina could see it for us, that would be great.
We're working in the dark. All right.
Okay. And if you could
The
pan
placement.
over to the one that shows it actually in scale on the building, if you would.
That's
Is it that big still?
it's that one.
Doesn't seem kind of big.
Well, that's the question. Because last time it was even bigger, and it's gotten a little bit smaller. Jane, Nina, any comments?
I think it's a little big.
Yeah. I think we still have a scale problem. It's still, I think,
So
Looks-
you guys were looking at this one, but the correct one is this one. This one is still 25 inches.
Let's look at the 18 one then. Can we
okay,
see that
let's
one?
look at the 18 one. Which one are you now saying the one that represents it? Okay, let's take a look at
This
that one then. That's different than what we had in the file.
Yes.
Board members?
I think it's fine if that's how much you have from the top and the bottom. It's 18 inches total, the height of
Yes.
the letters?
Just like the one that says Buddha-berry. The panel,
It's not the same size as big.
not the lettering, the panel.
No, but the lettering,
Oh, I see.
the lettering's large, yeah.
Yes.
Maybe the, okay. I'm voting no.
Because you think it's too large?
I do.
Okay. Nina?
I just don't think
Sorry,
it's.
my audio. I think it's too big.
Okay. I think what you're hearing, everyone still feels the scale is a little bit large. So in order to move you forward a little bit, if,
I
Yeah.
have another one.
okay,
Oh my
oh, okay, you do
Keep
it smaller?
prepared.
I love that.
I have
See,
a
you're
to-
prepared for Thanksgiving too, okay.
do you know?
It's a drive to come here.
I
so-
know,
Okay.
and we appreciate it. I'm sorry
Yeah.
I'm sorry you couldn't.
So that is how big?
This
No,
is 12 inches high.
Okay, but let's just see it in.
Oh, I don't know. Do you, oh, and you have
Much
it on there?
better,
Much better.
Okay,
much better.
bingo.
Nina?
Yeah, better, much better.
Okay,
Okay,
so I'm going to motion to approve that. Those are 12 inches?
This is the 12 inches.
Okay, motion to approve the sign for NFP at 12 inches in matte black, pin mounted over, centered over the door. Is there a second?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Great, and if you can leave that, I'll have the chairman
Sure,
sign the
sure,
correct
sure.
version.
Immediately.
So
I'm
that
gonna
we'll
leave the
file that with
correct
you.
one.
And
That's good.
do you happen to have 2 copies of it? We'll copy, don't worry about it. It's fine. Great,
Alright.
thank you. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Alex, what do you want me to do about the other sign?
Dayton Ritz and Osborne.
At 16 Hampton Road?
Yeah.
Is
No,
it-
I think we handled that
Oh,
one.
that one, okay. All right, well, if that one was approved by the committee,
Yeah, so
then
that one's fine.
there's no
Okay,
need to
great.
address that.
Great. So
That was the one for Dayton, Ritz, and Osborne Insurance?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
We're going to approve it with the condition.
Okay,
yeah.
excellent.
The condition that the outside be the same color as the other sign.
Were you here for that application?
Yeah, I'm here on that.
Oh, no, come forward, we'll tell you. See the outside border on the signs on the building? The green? If you could match the outside border the same way.
Okay, so you want that with these colors?
What
Jane?
colors?
Those are the colors of the lettering and the logo.
We were kind of
For
thinking,
Dayton Ritz and Osborne?
let me see for 1 second. I think what we were actually kind of thinking is if
Want
you
this
could,
or that?
actually this. 1 second.
Because it's the same building, we were trying to have continuity with the signs when it's on the same building.
Well, put that back down there on the table for me.
Oh, it's just that the logo is orange?
Yeah, the logo's orange and their lettering's brown.
Okay. And what's the coloring on the band on the sign to the left?
It's the same brown there. Oh, to the one to the left?
Yeah, is it
Town and
black?
Country's green.
Is it green?
So what color are you gonna make the same border?
You tell me.
Well, that's what we were hoping, to have the same borders, to have some continuity.
Yeah.
Dark green with these colors,
Isn't so good.
I
How-
don't think that's gonna work well.
I trust your judgment.
Well, if it's brown and green, one's a brown border, one's a green border, that might work as long as it's the same size border. Did you do Town and Country?
We didn't, but I can go measure it.
Yeah, as long as the border of the sign is, I'd be okay if the border was the same width and the same sort of density.
Okay.
Just so there's continuity between the two signs on the building.
Yeah,
Isn't
Yeah.
it brown?
It's
Yeah, but see,
brown
it's,
currently.
yeah, but it,
Okay.
That would work. So you just want it thicker to match
thought
Town
it-
yeah,
and Country?
they're gonna
Yes,
match.
yes.
Yeah,
Deal.
Is this black? What's down in country's
it's
lettering?
green.
green.
It's green.
The border's green.
I mean, all their things are
Yeah,
green.
yeah.
But brown is fine, I think, as
Yeah,
long as
it's-
it's the same border.
Let's see it's pretty dark. Okay, it's actually a good color.
Okay.
Okay.
Nina, you cool with that?
Move to approve by committee?
Who
Yes,
knows?
yep.
No, actually,
Sometimes it
I
is,
think because it's
not-
coming from the board, we're gonna approve it as a board.
Right.
Yeah.
With that condition.
So I'm going to motion to approve the application for Dayton Ritz Osborne with the condition that the border on the sign in dark brown be the same width and weight as the matching, the other town and country sign on the building. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
Thanksgiving, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to note, there's two adjournment requests on the agenda above the signs for 64 Woolley Street
Oh, yes.
and 300 North Main Street.
Okay, that's right.
Oh, 300 is?
Yeah, 300 North Main Street and 64 Woolley Street have adjourned for tonight. So if you're here for those two applications, they have adjourned.
I
But
believe
I'm
there
going to
were-
motion to accept the adjournment request for 64 Woolley Street and 300 North Main Street, and I think they're both adjourned to
I believe December 9th.
December the 9th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Great, thank you.
On job.
Okay,
Next.
all right, so we have adjournment. So the next thing is new matters historic. The first one is 60 Culver Street for a COA for demolition of a two-story single-family dwelling. Hello?
Hi, Lori Fontana, Fontana. Thank you.
Thank you.
McDonough Conway Architects. My client is seeking a demolition permit for a two-story residence that was built in the 1970s.
Okay. If you do a favor, just spread out so Nina
Sure.
can see it and so the public can see it, what we're talking about. Okay,
I think this is the same, I'm sorry.
that's okay. Board members? Well, we have that, because this is in the historic district, they would need a COA. Certificate of authenticity to remove the house, but it's a
appropriateness.
1970s house, so.
Yeah.
So,
But we're not sure if the house is a 1970s. We're questioning that because,
According to the town of Southampton,
The village built Southampton or the town?
well, the town where the tax records are,
Uh-huh.
it says 1970.
we're not sure if it was renovated then or built then because of the interior. Is the owner happen to be here?
No,
No.
the owner is not here.
It seems to be the same owner since it was, sold by
There
the
was-
builder.
Right, so there was, let me just pull the town record, there was two different dates in the tax rolls. There was a renovation done later than 2007, than 1970.
was the original building the smaller building that has the brick patio that leads to the front door and an extension put on where that big deck is, or?
Unfortunately, it does not say that,
Okay,
so I have, let's see.
About 7 of these in my book.
well, that explains why I have not.
What, do that? I don't have anything else. Okay.
Like, look at that brick foundation on the side there even.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
did.
here it is.
And there's a- and
It
there's a-
says there was, it says actually built 1970, effective year built 1993.
That's when the renovation was done. We have two choices. We can,
Yes.
because it's in the historic district, just to make sure we guarantee the age, we can have Zach take a look at it and just give us a fast report, just to guarantee there's nothing.
Absolutely.
We don't have
understand.
purview over the interior, but when we look at the interior, the way it's built with a bunch of old beams and parts of the house, I just want to ensure that there wasn't, like, maybe
Understood.
in 1925 cottage that in 1971 somebody blew up in the historic district, and we just didn't know that. So I think the right way forward is to refer this to Zach and have Zach just do a quick report on it, and then
Sure.
we can move from there.
Absolutely.
I
I
think
can
that's,
refer that to that.
that's
That's fine.
fair to the village
I
and
understand.
fair. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to move that we adjourn 60 Culver Street to December the 9th, pending a report from Zach Studenroth on the build year of the house to ensure that there's not a historic structure that we're not aware of. Because it looks, part of the house looks like it could have been
I think
renovated.
that, my opinion is, after looking at it, that they used old stuff
Yeah,
to make
and that
it
may
look
be,
old
yeah.
on the inside.
Yeah,
was
and they may
fine.
have. I just think we,
No, I
in doing our
understand. I
job, we
totally
just asked the
respect
right
that.
question.
Yeah, it's the,
Okay.
and the brick foundation can be
Okay,
like a
so
really old house.
back to motion to adjourn 60 Culver Street to December the 9th, pending a receipt of report from Zach Studenroth to guarantee or to designate the build year for the house on which to make a decision. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Right,
you.
And if for whatever reason we don't have the report by then, we'll let you know.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Next up is 270 Ox Pasture Road. You have affidavits, and are they in order?
I do, yes, I have a certificate of posting and a mailing for 270 Oxford.
Okay.
Are these things that the board already has? Okay. Okay, so the board typically, they may not consider it. They just have to keep it open.
Okay, we'll start by introducing yourselves and spelling your last name.
Oops, sorry.
Lisa Poyer, Poyer, an agent for the applicant.
Okay,
Thomas Boyle, ThomasBoyle with Schaefer Bucelato Architects.
okay. You're gonna have to figure out how to be in front of a mic. You can hear him? Yep. Okay.
Oh, they got fancier mics now.
Oh, look at this.
Woo!
The village must have invested. Go ahead.
Amy Bucelato, Schaefer Bucelato Architects. Last name spelled Buccellalato.
Great, thank you. Okay,
So I'll just start the presentation briefly here. The application is for renovation of a 7,836 square foot historic house located at 270 Ox Pasture Road. The footprint of the residence is 2,572 square feet. The owners are looking to do a full exterior renovation they'll be replacing waterproofing, cladding, trim on the residence, new windows and doors to the residence, a new foundation, and a chimney. In addition, they will be reconstructing the existing non-conforming 417 square foot two-car garage on the property. There is an existing swimming pool, which they will demolish and construct a new swimming pool with a footprint of 1,018 square feet. And then they will construct these new accessory structures, where there's a freestanding 556 square foot art studio structure, a 416 square foot gym structure, a 416 square foot spa structure, and then a 773 square foot summer folly structure. And the gym and the spa will be connected with a patio with a trellis over the patio. I believe you have survey site plans in your files, and you can see the proposed layout of all the structures. In addition, there will be some hardscaping and landscaping completed on the property, and Miranda Brooks is the landscaper of record for the application. We have here tonight Joel Snodgrass with Steward Preservation Services. He has also provided a historical report. I believe there's a copy that was submitted into the file. And then we have as the engineers and surveyor, the Rayner Group, and then DeLander Andrews for the sanitary design. So the architects have also prepared renderings, which I've just handed up this evening.
We don't see the historic.
did you get it?
I actually do have this.
Yeah. Would you like your copy?
We have extra copies.
You're lucky. Oh, here's one. Here it is.
Okay,
Yeah, there were 7
yep,
Okay,
copies
sorry.
submitted.
okay.
So, are we screen sharing? Oh, yes, right. Okay. So I'm going to turn it over to the architects and let them do the presentation.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. So I'm going to give a little background on the house and what we know, and then what we're proposing to do to the house first, and then I'll explain how we've worked with Miranda Brooks to develop the site and the accessory structures and how it all comes together.
Okay,
So the existing home at 270 Ox Pasture Road is located within the Historic Estates section of the Village of Southampton and has been designated as a contributing resource in the Southampton Village Historic District since 1988. The existing house was built around 1910 as part of Southampton's early summer colony development. The original 4-acre property was subsequently subdivided by a subsequent owner, shortening the depth of the property at the rear side. And that can also be seen in subsequent aerial mapping in 1960. The home retains generous front and side yard setbacks, but as noted, the original parcel was subdivided, so it's now about 2.7 acres of the original 4. This was done sometime between 1932 and 1950, we think. So the house now appears to sit toward the rear of the property, and consequently, there was a later kitchen addition or a previously altered kitchen area that actually straddles the amended rear side property setback. And similarly, the existing non-conforming 2-car garage, which appeared in the survey of the property in 1950, as you can see here, that also partially falls outside the accessory building setback boundaries. So both of these elements represent pre-existing non-conforming conditions. The house is described in the 1979 New York State Building Structure Inventory Blue Form as a 3-bay, 2.5-story hip roof Queen Anne house. And it maintains much of its architectural integrity, including asymmetrical massing, deep overhanging eaves and returns, variegated and decorative shingle siding and string courses that define each story, and multiple window types. And all of these things are characteristic of the late Queen Anne Revival style. And the current owners love it for its warmth and its charm, and for this reason, they want to preserve as much of the original character as possible. Surveys of the existing house were conducted by Joel Snodgrass and SPS, during multiple phases of work spanning from 2020 through 2022, and then supplemental review more recently in 2024, which revealed evidence that the structure continues to largely retain its original integrity, despite alterations that have been made over time. And of course, you have that full report that SPS wrote. So a brief summary of what we know from SPS's report, which has informed our design process. The building footprint and foundation remain substantially unchanged. The exterior is largely intact, again, with some isolated areas of alteration, but it's generally sound in condition. Evidence of alteration and modification to the exterior includes minor changes to the roofing configuration, alteration to the south and rear sides of the kitchen, replacement of railings, reconstruction of the side entry, several phases of transformation of the front porch, modification to fenestration, and installation of rear decking. The majority of the single glazed true divided light windows appear to be original to the house, and these include multiple types of typical Queen Anne style sash units, double hungs, large upper sashes that have lots of multiple smaller panes, and then that use both clear and colored glass, as well as fan lights and other multi-light decorative units. And then there are a small number of other functioning units, including hopper, awning, slider, and fixed panel sashes. Fortunately, despite the generally sound condition of these windows and the use of later added aluminum storm panels, the windows do not provide sufficient weather sealing. So the house is really drafty and it's really energy inefficient. Several original window units appear to survive, but also appear to have been moved over time to alternate locations like bathrooms and the basement. And a full window inventory has been conducted, and that's part of SPS's report, which you have. The front porch, as it currently exists, was once an open porch that was enclosed and modified over several periods of treatment. The front porch, as it currently, you'll see in later slides, it now has clapboarded knee walls that were probably not original Jalousie style windows, and also floor to ceiling plate glass. And similar floor to ceiling plate glass was previously installed at a projecting bay on the west side, which I think if we go a little bit over to the right, yes, there on the far right image. Yes, so that's also, it's hard to see in this image, but that's also floor to ceiling plate glass. So what we're proposing to do, the current homeowners again recognize and appreciate the inherent qualities of the existing historic house, and they wish to retain its historic integrity, its architectural integrity, by maintaining its current original location, making repairs where necessary, including providing carefully matched components where replacement is necessary, and adding only new architectural elements that are appropriate and subservient to the existing structure, to assist in the creation of a visually, aesthetically cohesive property. The outbuildings and the accessory structures have been designed to draw from the aesthetic of the existing historic structure, but at a scale in both size and detail that reinforce their clear subservience to the historic main house. And as you'll see, this is our vision of what the property will look like when all of our proposed work is complete, including inputs from Miranda Brooks Landscape to the rendering. And in the site plan, which I'll describe at greater length in just a minute, you will hopefully see that the siting of the outbuildings and the accessory structures have been carefully considered to further minimize their visual impact on the property. We tried to orient the structures with their small sides to the front of the property, or locating them behind other structures. The Southampton Village ARB guidelines, principles of historic design, were referenced, and utilized to inform the design along with the Village of Southampton Code Chapter 116. So what we're proposing to do to the main house specifically, starting with the new foundation and water table, we're proposing to lift the house and remove and replace the deteriorating basement and foundation, original foundation, with a new foundation, setting the house down in the same exact location, retaining the existing finished first, second, and third floor heights above grade. The existing facade setback, as you can see in the red dash line, will remain unchanged. The foundation is going to extend underneath the front porch. The existing front porch is dashed over on the right, and the new foundation will just extend under that new front porch. But we're gonna retain the traditional lattice work between the structural piers, which will be clad in brick to match the chimney and painted like the existing textured block foundation. And then the next thing, so you can see that in the elevation side by side. So down below is what's existing, and up above is what we are proposing. The owners love the existing front porch, which serves currently as an extension of the exterior or the interior, and it brings in beautiful natural light and views to the outdoors, including views to many mature trees, which will remain. However, the current configuration, which has been transformed, as you can see, over many iterations, is not visually or architecturally compatible with the style of the original house. And the large plate glass is simply not practical or safe. So we are proposing to extend the existing wraparound porch, which is currently open. Okay, is that up? Okay, so we're proposing to extend the existing front porch, which is open to the east. We're gonna wrap it around to the east side and the south. And the enclosed porch, excuse me, we're gonna extend to the west and southward. Using complementary materials, railings, and ornamentation on the open porch, and traditional weathered cedar shingles at the roof and wood clapboarded returns. We're proposing to eliminate the modern Delisi style and plate glass windows at the existing porch, introducing more stylistically compatible and practical divided light casement windows set within a series of posts similar to those that wrap the open porch. We are also proposing to reduce the depth of the rear deck off the kitchen, and also the number of steps, as this deck will now, we're proposing to connect it to a slightly raised garden designed by Miranda Brooks, which we'll describe again later in the presentation. So you can see both front and side. Here's the side. You can see at the bottom, that is the depth and the height of that existing deck off the kitchen. And we're proposing to shorten it considerably and also eliminate a few of the steps by landing it on a raised garden.
I'm confused. So you're enclosing yet another, you're putting on an extension to the enclosed porch, is that correct?
Yes, we are extending the enclosed portion of the porch.
Right.
Do you want us to go back?
Could you?
Yep.
please? And could you tell me, in relation to the already enclosed porch, what is it equal to?
Well, so here at the bottom,
Well, I see that.
Tom, can you, so it's, let's say it's a bay and a half. So if you kind of lined up.
Is the, so below is what's there now?
Yes, and this bay here on the right, which has the plate glass in the middle, projects from the face of the house. So in all, you know, if we were to draw a straight line, the existing front porch across that bay, we're not extending, you know, we're filling in and extending the house by a bit and just connecting that interior space. We feel like this solution's a little more visually coherent, and it affords them better visual access to the property. And this is, you know, this is the house facing west. And most of the property extends, you know, to the north and the west because it sits so far back.
I was their neighbor for a number of years, long ago.
Okay.
But
So you know,
oh, it's the same family. Pico.
okay.
Okay,
Okay.
I love this house, though.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful house, and they love it too. So, let's see, I think we talked about, okay. We are proposing to replace the existing 3 steps, and landing at the mudroom entry, which is now on the opposite side of the house. This is the east side now. What is existing is below, and what we're proposing to do is above. We're gonna replace, the 3 steps and landing with 2 steps and a landing in the same location to be painted like the existing. We are also proposing a new 12-light exterior door in this location to replace the existing non-historic 9-light mudroom entry door.
But what was the, do you have any sense of the original door? So what does that mean? Non-historic?
Well, it's a modern door. It's not original to the house.
Do you have any,
Do we know,
what was the door before that?
do we know, was it a historic opening, or was it an original historic opening that they replaced the door in, or
Well,
was
it's a
it,
good question. What I gather from Joel and his team is that there's very little photographic evidence of this house. We have some photographs of the north as it comes around to the west. There was a lot, when the photographs were taken, at least from what I can see of them, and they're probably in the report, a lot of vegetation around the house. So it is a bit difficult. I think what we want to do is if we're going to create a new door for that opening, which will change, the opening will be lower relative to where it is now, to put a door back that feels like it was original to the house.
But how do you know that?
That the door is not original to the house.
No, the one you're replacing it with had anything to do with what was there before the one that's there now. Can you,
That would be really hard to know. I mean, there's no photographic evidence of it.
So, okay, thank you.
Okay. I think we would do our best as we are, you know, to study the details of the house and what we know of Queen Anne architecture and propose something that's sensitive and sensible about it. Okay. And then the last of the porches is the side porch going again to the west side. We're again going to replace the existing steps and landing there with new steps and landing in the same location. We're proposing a new 9-light exterior door on the south side of the dish room to replace the existing door on the west side of the kitchen. And this door is designed to maintain the character and detailing of the existing 9-light door to the kitchen, because that one we do believe is a door that was likely original to the house.
So has every porch then been enclosed?
No, these aren't enclosed. We're just replacing the steps and the landings, which are not in terrific condition. Okay. So the owner has expressed interest in repairing and restoring the original windows wherever possible, and are providing careful custom-made windows to replicate the original windows where replacement is required. So we understand their intent, and knowing this and our own goals to retain as much of the original character of the house as possible, and then also the demands of the New York State building codes, we are working with Riley Windows now to achieve the following goals for the windows. The careful restoration but likely replication of existing historic windows, energy efficiency to meet the New York State Res Check requirements, and interior comfort, and the required impact rating. So this is a bit of the window survey that we conducted, and also SPS conducted, of the original windows of the house. And we have 3 different strategies that Riley Windows has, that we've worked with Riley Windows to come up with that would meet those 3 goals. So, single glazed true divided light windows with impact rated storms. These would be for seasonal and storm use. We would use that strategy on the 1st and 2nd floors. And on the 3rd floor, we would introduce double glazed, simulated divided light windows that are impact rated. And the reason why we would do it differently on the 1st and 2nd floor and the 3rd floor is that in the event of a storm, it may not be possible to mobilize equipment to get up to the 3rd floor and some of these, higher windows to get those impact rated storms in place. A permutation of that strategy was again the single glazed true divided light windows with impact rated plywood and non-impact rated storm windows, which again would be put in place either for seasonal use or for storm event, and then we would have the simulated divided lights on the 3rd floor. Or the windows would all be replaced where windows need to be replaced with double glazed, simulated divided light, impact rated windows. And again, the goal here is to create windows that look as closely as they can to what exists now. That is the owner's goal and our goal as well. So you can see from our drawings here where we have original windows and what we would propose in their place. And any one of these 3 strategies can be achieved by Riley, but we of course want the board's feedback to understand whether there are any that are immediately, a disadvantage in your view.
Okay.
We'll also show you a picture of a project that Riley Windows has completed recently.
I think we trust that they know what they're doing.
Okay.
I don't think we need to look
But
at
again,
other,
you know,
I don't need to look at windows from
Okay,
another project.
The colored glass,
Yeah.
we've figured
We know
out a
that.
strategy with them to achieve that.
Okay,
Okay. And then, as with previous alterations to the house where original windows have been removed, moved, eliminated, or added, we are also proposing to add a new window at the projecting bay. Let's see. It's coming. It's thinking. Oh, I can see it there. Oh, there it is. Okay. A new window at the projecting bay to match those that are flanking it. So you can see below, the bay has 2 windows in the front. There are actually 2 windows on the side. So it's a bay of 4 windows with one kind of a blank in the middle. And we thought to complete the bay, so make it a 5-light bay or 5-window bay, as we're showing on the top. We're also proposing 2 new dormers, which would be in character with the existing dormers of the house. On the south, this is the east side, excuse me, so that's the new dormer that we're proposing on the 3rd floor to bring more light. And then that's at the 2nd floor on the south side. Just feel like this elevation feels a little undernourished on the bottom. That's what exists.
is that part of the kitchen extension? No,
It's not, it's above it.
it's above, okay.
It's above it, 2nd floor bedroom space.
But that was an extension.
They don't know.
You don't know.
It
Was an extension at some point, maybe.
at some
Okay.
point, and it appeared at least by 1950.
Okay.
Okay. And then there's a new fan light there on the south side of the house as well. We just felt like, maybe the original architect, I hate to stipulate, would have wanted to put, some character on that south side. And we feel like it enlivens that facade, and there's gonna be a lovely winter garden there that Miranda Brooks has designed, and so being able to be in that garden and look up the house, new additions which are sensitive to the original. So again, we've been working alongside Miranda Brooks Landscape Design as they develop the landscape, and although Miranda could not be with us tonight, she's provided us with the following points to share with the board. So their approach to the landscape was designed or guided.
Before we go down that path, let's let's,
You wanna talk about the house?
I think you've got new structures and you've got a
Yeah.
historic structure. Why don't we bifurcate that out for a
Okay.
minute? Let's just
That
start,
sounds fine.
start with the existing structure. Board members need to, because I will tell you one thing that we're going to do is I'm gonna ask Zach to take a look at the house and tell us what he might know about it.
Okay.
Just because it's a 1910 house, you're in a historic district. But board members.
It's an awful lot to take in.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanna say thank you for not trying to demolish the house or change it greatly. But I would hope that you would use whatever is there. I think sometimes windows, the original windows can be used. So,
I think, where we can, we need to make sure that we can achieve the impact rating. And if we can achieve that through rated storm windows, that can be applied during storms, or seasonally, I think we need to have a good understanding, you know, how we can achieve the energy efficiency as well, you know, so that you're not behind a storm panel all the year round. But you're right, we would wanna maintain as many of those original windows as we can, while we also have the demands of the building codes, you know, to meet. But I appreciate that, certainly that would be our goal as well.
Any
Go
comments?
ahead, no,
Ni-
I'm not.
Nina, do you have any comments?
I will speak,
Um,
but let's hear what she has to say.
Okay, here's,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Oh.
There you are. Okay.
So, yeah, no, I think that the preservation of the style is all harmonious, and I believe that the proportions work, and I appreciate the focus on the garden. I believe that the west-facing sunroom will be beautiful in the evenings. I don't think west-facing is ideal for energy. And so, in terms of those beautiful historic windows being drafty, I don't know whether you're gonna need a consultant, for the windows, because but, you know, you're gonna have to pass the HERS rating anyway, so, however you can eliminate the drafts. Are you insulating the walls with extra thickness, or?
We certainly can do that. I think we're planning right now for a circumstance that would require us to defer in most of the exterior walls to receive simulated divided light impact rated windows. So there would be the opportunity to add insulation.
Great, yeah. Excellent. Yeah, I think it's a well-done design.
Here's the part that gives me pause,
Okay.
because it's a 1910 house and we're in a historic district, is what you're calling the proposed exterior elevation north. You're proposing to actually remove what is the existing front door opening, widen it,
We're
and
moving
put in a sort of a modern all-glass double door with two wider side lights.
What I can show you, is we are proposing. We're proposing to move the front door. You take the door that exists.
Mhm.
It's coming.
Just tell us.
Might be easier to see. Okay.
Okay,
So because we're wrapping, the open porch, as you can see below, ends the east side of the north elevation. We're gonna wrap that open porch around and move the front door to the east elevation underneath that existing gable. There. There's the-
Here's the few things that give me pause, and this is why I want Zach to take a look at this. Number one, you guys describe this as an asymmetrical Queen Anne house, but yet you're trying to make by extending the porch to the left across the front, you're taking it to more of a symmetrical house, but the porch is symmetrical. I think you're being very sensitive to the house, but one of the, when I look at the standards that we're supposed to follow, it's restore and replace and reuse are the big three here, and you're actually proposing to take a historic opening, which is the front door, and completely alter it, make it wider, put 4-panel all glass doors, and it actually, to me, takes away the character of a historic house when you do that. Because right now you appear to have a Dutch door that has side lights, and it was sort of normal, because they're actually not nearly as nice as this, because it's a beautiful house. But we have several examples of these green houses around the village, and that's one of the aspects that make them more normal. Now, when it comes to enclosing closing the porch, it feels like that's been done sometimes badly, somewhere between 1910 and today, apparently around the 50s. So I just want people waiting, and you're not proposing actually removing the interior curtain wall of this house and expanding this all the way out. This will still remain an enclosed porch.
Yes.
Great.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so I just wanted to take a look at that, but it does give me pause. And the other thing, then you're also taking what is, one of the things that makes an old historic house interesting is the quirk of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're actually taking is the two historic openings that are above the front door that you want to change, and then by putting a triple gang in, you're actually changing another set of historical openings in the house.
Okay.
So you're taking away, you're symmetricizing, which is probably not a word, but you're taking the
understand
porch
what
and you're
you're
making
saying,
it
though.
wide.
Yeah.
So you're taking away the asymmetrical
Okay.
aspect of the house, which is part of its quirk and its original intent. I couldn't support completely changing or removing the historical opening of the front door of the house in a historic district, because that sort of goes against the National Historic Standards. And I'd want Zach's opinion on this idea that we could change the historical openings over that from 2 to 3 windows. I think you're being very sensitive. It's a beautiful property. Because you've even gone so far as to, make a new impact-rated entry door to match the existing front door that will no longer be the existing front door in your plans. So that gives me a little bit of pause. The enclosing or not enclosing of the porches, that they've been enclosed over the years. I think the plan that you have to enclose them the way they're looking is actually improvement of what's there now. I just want some interest. And I also, the idea that, because I agree with you, your south elevation is kind of quirky, where you're proposing bumping out with a dormer and a fan light and a bunch of it'll make that wall look better. I just want Zach to tell me, what do we know about that exterior of that wall? Because I have a feeling that's not original, but I don't know that. So I'd like to know that before I'd be comfortable with what we can and cannot do on that particular elevation. I think you're doing a very sensitive job. When I look at the west elevation, anything else we can find out about the original history, because, there's sort of on the second floor, there's a balcony. So it appears to be in the original on page 8.
Yeah, there's a railing.
There's a railing and and
Yeah.
I don't know that that's original, but I don't know that it's not. So I just would want to know that before we agree to sort of alter it, because it's a historic property. And then the answer to that would sort of guide how we feel about the extension of the porch all the way around. The funny thing about this house is I think there's a house across the street, but it was a new build recently, and I feel like they went through the window catalog and ordered one of every. And when I look at this house, but when you look at this house, there's almost a prairie configuration in the windows. There's the colored glass. There's so typical to these greenhouses. And then you've got 6s and 4s and 6s over 2s, and it's what gives it its quirk and makes it interesting. Because it really is a beautiful property. But those are the things that I would want it to look at, so I get some more information on it before I would feel comfortable really moving this to vote. Board members, any other comments
I have
about the house itself?
So I feel that you're not actually, you're preserving it, but then you're making it more regular. I don't like the big porch enclosure. I think it's too much. Adding, what do you think of the dormer additions? I don't mind those as much, but I think
Are you talking about this
there are
one
two
that's
dormers
on the
that are
south?
being added.
On the south, above, yep.
I just feel like it's a historic house and that you're taking liberties that I'm not sure I would consider appropriate. That what you should be doing, in my estimation, is restoring what you can and not altering. Like, it's become kind of symmetrical, and look at Mocamonto. It has a million kooky things in it. It did. And it was a lot of work to preserve it. And they added on to it, but they did a good job. But I feel somehow this is being in a sense, this isn't the right word, gentrified, it's being homogenized, I don't know what the word is, but that you've taken liberties that I don't think most people do in preserving a historic house. So I need to look at this more carefully, and I want Zach to look at it. But what Mark said is the quirk and the weirdness is what makes it a historic house. I mean, otherwise, we just build one, that looks like that. That's all symmetrical and all the windows are just, he's right, the one that's missing in the middle is the good part of that part of the house, with the two weird ones on the side. I feel like that somehow you've taken liberties that I don't think you should take, actually. But I can't tell you, I'd have to look at it more carefully. But in general, the big enclosed porch now, with the big door, that's not working for me. I don't know, and I'm not here to tell you how to do it, but I do think that the notion of restoration has somehow not been honored as much as I would like it to be. I love this house. I think it used to be open and breezy, it was casual, it was an amazing house to have next door, really. There's nothing like this left that I know about. So that's all I have to say. What are these, do we know?
I'm sorry, Nina?
No, I think there's nothing better than having experienced the house yourself, Susan, so I appreciate it. And looking at the north elevation, I'm just wondering, from an energy standpoint, north elevations typically should be more closed, and it seems like the existing elevation, I don't see what you're just, well, you're adding more glass, which is not beneficial, considering it's the north facade. There should be less glass. And I'm not sure why you're touching the north facade so much when you have, I guess all you're getting is the new entry porch.
Well, on the north side is the existing entry porch, and part of this has to do with how the site plan has developed.
The outbuilding and stuff?
Well, if we can just go back to the site plan. So what you'll see from the site plan is that the existing driveway, the driveway opening, apron, and gate are all gonna remain, and the existing driveway will also remain. But this brings you to the house on the west side. Currently, there's a circular drive around a tree, and you come to the north side of the house. So what Miranda is proposing is to bring you along the west side of the house, so it makes sense, at least in our mind, in tying those two ideas together to enter the house from the west. The east, pardon me. The glass doors that you see in the position of the original front door are leading to an enclosed hedge garden. So creating some connection between the house and the north. Because one of the things that is a bit of a challenge with the side setbacks of this property, having been foreshortened, is that most of the property is to the north. And so wanting to take best advantage of those views and connection from the inside of the house to the outside of the house on the north is important. It's one of the other reasons why we've tried to improve on the enclosed porch to the north. I would have to study that to see if we are netting out with more glass or less. Right now it's just mostly plate glass and jalousie windows. There are some clapboarded knee walls, that's true, which we are lowering or eliminating. But we think the connection between the inside of the house and the outside of the house is improved in this case. The plate glass is just not safe.
So is the goal to re-enter the way you approach this house, what was the north entrance, which was probably the main entrance, is now you're trying to rearrange the driveway to move so you'd actually approach the house as a main entrance from the south side? Or
From
the,
From the west.
from the west side? So you're
Yeah,
actually,
where the-
you're reorienting how you address this house,
Yeah.
if I hear you correctly.
Yeah, you're
And
walking
that-
in the other
Okay.
corner
So
of the same room.
I vaguely remember working on something about this before. They wanted to build a big house behind it, and there are all these setback things. It didn't go through. but-
I don't know about that. I do know that there is a brand new house immediately to the south. It's on a different property. It's in
Right,
that
that comes
flag
in.
piece.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird scene.
Yeah.
Well, I think, before I go, I think what we should do is, you hear what our concerns are.
Yes.
I think we should send this to Zach.
Okay.
We should go
I
to an
agree.
independent report, and let's take that back in.
Okay.
And then we can address,
And
if he can
Yeah.
get it here by the 9th, we'll address it on the 9th, but then we can sort of address those comments. I think you've heard what our concerns are from the board perspective for Historic House. So, in the interest of time, now let's move on to your,
Okay, thank
let's
you.
move on to your new
Thank
structures.
you. New structures, okay. So, as I said, we can just go to the approach here. Okay, so the driveway apron and the automatic gate are
Yep.
going to be maintained. Sorry, it's catching up here. This is again, the view of the proposed. This is the existing gate, and that will remain, and this is the view from the driveway apron. The driveway, again, leads to a new motor court flanked by lawn panels, creating a new primary entrance sequence, which is associated with this relocated front door. And then the drive's gonna continue to the south. Let me just go to the site plan. So there's the new receiving area with the flanking lawn panels, but then the driveway continues to the south. And you can see in the upper left, there's the existing two-car garage. So there's a service court now nestled in the back. And we're proposing to refurbish if we can. This garage building is in not great condition. We'll refurbish it as much as we can. In its footprint, or if we have to reconstruct it, and you'll see elevations of that in a bit. Tucked behind the existing house is an art studio and like a maker space, which will be connected to the house by a raised winter garden, which you can see with the parterres there. And bleached trees are gonna create a living screen between the garden and that service court. And then connected by this meandering path, you're proposing twin gym and spa structures. They're separate structures, and there's an open pergola tucked in between them. And then beyond the gym and the spa is the new pool to replace the existing pool in the same location. This new pool, as Lisa said, is about 1,018 square feet in area. It's about 36 feet in diameter, and it's going to be encircled by 6 pollarded deciduous trees. And then spanning the primary or the central east-west
Let's go,
axis.
we've all looked at this a little bit, so
Okay.
let's go to the structures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So we can start with the garage. So you can see the existing is the first row of elevations and then the proposed. So we're gonna replace the garage doors because they are not in tremendous condition with garage doors that have glass to let light in above. We're adding man door, but it's the same profile, it's the same envelope, but it does need new finishes on the exterior.
So on your west elevation, you're adding an entrance door. You're changing it to a flared shingle at the bottom. You're replacing the doors. And you're adding a louver vent.
Feels a little bit more in keeping with the rest of the property. You
I'm
know,
just making
you-
sure that I'm seeing what I'm
Yes,
seeing. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, and
And
then
the
next.
materials are designed to match,
Mhm.
and the
Yeah.
colors and materials are designed to match the existing current house.
Yes,
So it'd be white?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the art studio is next.
Okay.
And then we have the gym and the spa.
Well, let's go, take us through the art studio.
Okay. Sure. So this one will have shingled siding that will be painted to match the house. So these two structures want, because they're so close together, they want to feel made of like materials and finished in like ways. We have double hung windows that are operable on the north and the south sides, and also on the west side, and an entry door off of that service court.
Okay.
And the roof pitches here, I think, are 10 and 12. The main house is 12 and 12, with the Victorian steeper pitch. Here to keep under the 16-foot height limitation and have a pitched roof. We did the best we could.
Okay.
And then the gym building, which has a twin, the spa building. These buildings will also be shingle-sided, natural wood roof material to match the main house. But we think at this point, these two buildings and also the Folly are going to be stained or left to weather, so not painted. The brick water table at all of these structures, the gym, the spa, and the Folly probably be left unpainted, unfinished. That's the idea at this time, although the art studio will have materials that are, again, in keeping with the main house.
On your, what's probably both of them, but on your gym east elevation, your roof looks like it's wood shingle, except for you've got a pitch that looks like it's not steep enough to support wood shingles on the back of it. Is there a separate roofing material?
On these dormers?
Yeah. Because they don't look quite.
Yeah.
They don't look quite steep enough for
Yeah.
wood.
Would you be okay with a seamed material?
I think you'd have to come show it to us. But
Okay.
yeah, but just when I look at it, because you just like, you don't have quite enough pitch there for wood.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay.
If there's any way not to have metal in this, because this is a really wooden place.
Mhm. Yeah,
That was the
interesting.
charm of it, and the open porches, now that I'm thinking about it. It had a kind of, the wind blowing through it, very green in the front, green and white.
Mhm.
I don't mind the natural shingles for outbuildings,
Mhm.
but I find the introduction of metal, which last I saw as actually being used in an environment, was in Moose, Wyoming, to cover over the paddock, put a shady place. I don't feel that that's material that really was used out here. I don't know, I haven't been in it, there are no farms left, but it may have been used. But I often object to it because I think it really takes a different direction. And if there's a way not to do that,
Mhm.
that's a good idea.
To increase the
I
pitch of
mean,
the dormers.
Because this is like, and the shingles are all, there are different kinds of shingles on the White House. I do admit, it's so far back. This is such a weird, the house is pretty far back.
Mhm.
And then it's stuck up against something else where the people come in from the other side.
Mhm.
I did work on, there was years ago, somebody
Mm.
wanted to do something really strange.
Mhm.
Put a 10,000 square foot house
Mhm.
back somewhere, and this was
Mhm.
gonna be, they were gonna move this house, which I'm glad they
Mm.
didn't. It didn't happen, but
Okay.
I know it's problematic.
Yeah.
I do understand.
Yeah. I mean, it's a interesting challenge.
Yeah, oh, but it's such a fabulous place.
It's a great house, and
It's
it's a beautiful site.
It's so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. Well.
All right, I'm going to say, board members, do you have any comments or questions on the proposed garage elevation or proposed new build out structures?
No.
I just want to know, because the plans say interior work is not part of this application, the building department would need to see those details, but it should be labeled as no heating, no cooking, and no sleeping
Yes.
to meet village code. So that all of these structures would be seasonal use only.
Yes. Yes.
Thanks.
As they're designed, but we
Yes.
can add those notes to the drawings.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
Okay. Need any comments on the out structures?
No, it's all good. I prefer the old garage, but that's me. I don't know. Is there a reason you're changing the garage facade? It's,
Well,
it's just,
I suppose
Yeah.
the facade that faces the house with the new garage doors, which would be the most visible, because it's actually almost completely covered with, it's trees have grown over this garage. It's almost difficult to see the sides. Now, of course, we're gonna have to limb up, protect those trees to even just repair the structure. But I think we felt like you weren't really gonna get much of a view of the north and south elevations, but that what we're proposing isn't, too deleterious to the original.
Okay.
But I obviously, take your comments.
The garage, photographs of the
Would that
garage.
help to see where
Yeah.
it,
I'm sure it's, back in the day, all the garages are back off the corner, just off the property line, which was a nice place for them. All right. What I'm going to do is, I think you've heard the comments. I think I'm going to take comments from the public. And then I think we should adjourn this and then let Zach come back with a report. And I'll ask him just to take a look at the garage, because do we actually know the build year on the garage?
well, it appears in a survey that was 1950 and maybe
Yeah.
before.
But in
At
1950,
1950, it
yeah, but
definitely
1910, I'm not
appears
sure they would have had, but let him tell us that. Well, let him tell us that.
Yeah, there are a couple site plans actually in SPS's report
Yeah.
that show outbuildings. There was another outbuilding, but of course that was before the property was subdivided.
No, before it was subdivided,
Yeah.
sure. Are there any comments from the public?
So they have to.
Hi.
Hello.
Good evening, Nika Strunk. I'm representing Math Holdings LLC, which has the property directly to the east of this property at 250 Ox Pasture Road. And, do I have the right? Hold on. Yeah, 250. So it's the direct neighbor. The garage is almost on my
It's probably
client's
on the property line.
My clients have no issues whatsoever with the proposed design. They think it's lovely. The only thing that they asked me to express is that there is an existing arborvitae hedge that provides privacy between the two properties that we would like to be protected during this project. Okay,
I think that's
Okay,
absolutely intended.
okay.
It's in our renderings.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? Okay, so this is a lot. I think we should adjourn this.
Okay.
We'll try to adjourn it to November the 9th, but it'll be 10.
December.
December the 9th. It'll be, and see if Zach can get back to us that quickly. Because I just feel like we need a lot more information here, and there are some concerns about the asymmetrical part, the front door part. You're actually realigning this house, and you're not as siding, but it's how you address this house in the street. You're actually realigning by sort of blocking the visibility of the door and moving the door to the side through a garden. So we need some more information on that.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you very much.
So motion to adjourn 270 Ox Pasture Road to December 9th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'll let you know as soon as we hear from Zach how quickly he can get out to take a look at it.
Holidays.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
that. There's that holiday.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
And I'll be in touch if we need to coordinate a site inspection for
And I
Zach.
will say with all your reports, it was very thorough and we appreciate it. Okay, so that brings us to 70 Great Plains Road, COA to amended plans for exterior alterations to a dwelling. Hello.
We just do this.
Don't hurry too fast. I gotta get my materials. Okay,
May I start?
yes,
You have
please.
to say your name, address, and spell your last name.
I'm Mimi, M-I-M-I, Reiser, R-E-I,
You just pull that a little closer.
sure.
Thank you.
R-E-I-S-N-E-R.
Okay.
And I am the owner, along with my husband, of 70 Great Plains. And we would like to thank you for taking this quick review. If you recall, you all approved our plan about a year ago or so.
About a year ago, right? Yeah.
Right, and I'm happy to report, I don't know if you've gone by, but I'm happy to report that the significant upgrades to materials are moving along swimmingly. We replaced all those non-functional windows with new casement windows, and we happily removed that poor quality IFAS, that shot foam, and have used very beautiful stucco. The front of the house is moving along swimmingly. In the back, we have two small, as happens with existing conditions, Carol Vincic, our architect, can go through it, but we found two things that we'd like to change in the back.
Okay. If you'll just take us through them, that would be great.
I'm Carol DeSico Vinci, VINCI, and so as we began working, as with all renovations, we noticed some existing conditions that we wanted to revisit. And so there's no changes to the front facade, and this is the rear facade that we have here. And so we would like to add a second window and combine it with one window that you were approved. And this is in the area of a stair landing on the second floor. And what we realized when we began work was that we really minimized the view to this beautiful rear yard. I included in the submission for this modification a color Xerox of the old front facade, or rear facade, so you can see that we took away a view that we had previously, and we didn't intend to do that. So what we're showing here is on the second floor, above these French doors that lead out to the rear yard, from the stair hall, right above that, instead of one pair of French casements, it's two pair of French casements. And that gives us the view back.
Okay.
It's still the rhythm still works, it's still aligned. In fact, the old window was lowered, and we thought that was, disruptive, and we knew we didn't want to do that. We just want to add a window next to it.
So on your south, just to move you along here, on the south elevation, you're asking for you're actually taking what was a single set of casements to a double set of casements, and you're actually removing that transom window?
Yeah.
Yes,
We're removing the transom window, yes.
which we can all applaud. We
Yes.
remembered we were all desperately trying to do that.
Yes. And then on your, because these are minor, and then on
Yes, they're
your
minor.
west elevation, you're actually you took, what, two sets of sliding doors?
Yes.
And you're actually replacing them with windows over, is that right?
Instead, yes.
Yep.
Because
So you're putting casement windows instead of full French door, two
Yes,
sets of sliding
yes,
doors.
Yes, because there were three sets of
Right.
French doors.
Egress, it
and
didn't make a lot of sense.
Didn't make sense,
And those are the only changes you're asking for?
Yes.
Yes.
Board members,
No problem.
Yeah, improvement.
Nina?
Thank you.
Yep, that's fine.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you
Didn't
very
we
much.
argue for a while about that transom window?
Oh, we did.
Oh, we didn't, because we were all like, that transom window.
We didn't
It's-
argue, we
it's
were
in-
just all trying to
we're-
figure out how to get
I mean,
rid of it.
it's incongruous to
And
this house.
we figured it out, and
Okay.
honestly, the stuff was beautiful.
Are there any
Thank you.
comments from the
Thank you so
public? We're not
much.
done. Any comments from the
Appreciate
public?
Is it an historic district?
Okay.
It is, so we would need, this would be a certificate of appropriateness.
Yeah.
So
So-
we'd be directing council to prepare a
Yes.
COA.
So motion to, what's my motion? To approve
Move to written decision.
to move to written decision for.
Close the
appro-
application and we
Close the
will approve in
application, move
writing.
to written decision. The approval for the recommended changes to 70 Great Plains Road from documents dated 9/20/2023. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There
Thank
you
you.
go.
Thank you so much.
I did drive by, it's coming along nicely,
Oh, great.
by the way, yeah.
Can't wait.
I remember that window. Okay. So that moves us along to public hearing non-historic. The first is 141 Pulaski Street to construct a two-story single-family dwelling with accessory garage and pool house. If you guys start by introducing yourselves and spelling your last names for the record, that would be great.
My name is Julio. I'm the architect for the project.
Daphne Brumsey, BRUMSCY, homeowners.
Great, welcome. Okay,
So, we had a previous meeting, and since then, we made, we heard what the board said, we made quite a bit of changes. And starting from the back where the windows and doors are, you can see this is a lot of glass. And we did a lot of reductions. We reduced about 130 square of glass, so it's like a 25% of decreasing the glass area.
Sorry.
So that will be the number one thing we did. Number two we did is, the roof line, I think the board is like asking me, you know, there's too much curve, so we turn them into straight. And then the column, I believe, the column, instead of 4, we did 2. And then there is also the square footage reduction of the balcony. So the balcony right now is all different. We have, instead of a large balcony, we had them recessed into two smaller ones instead of one large balcony. And it's probably easier to see it on the floor plan. And the floor plan would be, this was the original, it's a very large balcony, and then we had small balcony. You see a tiny little.
Yep.
4'7" by 8 foot, 4'9" by 8'7" balcony. And then we have also changed, sorry, I didn't read it, I wrote it upside down. That's about it. Oh, the dental, we removed the dental.
yes.
The front cable, they're gone.
Board members.
That's the changes we made.
Jane?
Definitely seems improved. The removal of the dental, I think, making it that much more simplistic.
Need any comments?
Seems a little
Good,
repetitive, something cookie cutter. If you look at the original style, there's more variation, I would think, in the proportions and the rhythm of the facade. But I agree that it's improved without the extra decorative dental.
Susan?
I think it's improved. I feel like I've seen this house in the village too many times now, though. It seems that this is like standard fare, but I don't know. And it doesn't really relate to the neighborhood, but I guess the neighborhood is changing, so that was my major concern, actually. I like the neighborhood,
I like that.
how it looks.
Okay.
And you?
My comment would be, I think, when they put it before us last time, they addressed literally every one of the concerns that we put out about the house.
Okay.
And I think it sits nice in its spot. Can you just take me through the exterior colors one more time so I have it on the record?
Oh, we have the cedar shingles and cedar roofing. We're gonna have white window, not white, cashmere windows and doors. And that's That's the same with the trim. The trim will match the window.
What is cashmere?
Cashmere is like a light beige I showed to the board last time.
Yeah, when was that though? A month ago?
Yeah. I
Okay,
can bring it out on the computer.
It's like a light.
okay, I'm just
Very light.
asking.
Yeah.
I think you loved it last time.
I know, that was a long time ago. Do you know how many applications we see?
Yeah, I'm so
I'm not,
sorry. I
I'm not
didn't
meant
bring
to
it.
memorize them.
Yeah, I'm sorry I didn't bring it.
Okay,
over.
It's okay.
It was a
No, I'm
very
not-
light beige.
okay. I'm gonna vote against it.
From my standpoint, I think it fits well in the neighborhood. I think you addressed the concerns we had. Our concerns about the lines were a sense of borrowed history going to the house. I think you've simplified it, and you have seriously reduced the amount of glass that you had across the back, and our one big concern, which is the size of the balconies, have gotten smaller. So that would be my take on it. So what would you like us to do?
Approve us.
Hang on, I'm gonna go to public. Do I have any public comment? Okay, now we have four board members tonight voting. Would you like us to take a vote on it?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm gonna motion to approve the house at the Brumsley Residence at 141 Pulaski based on updated drawings dated 11/16/24. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Nina?
She put her hand up. I'm a nay.
Does the record reflect that she
She's
she voted aye?
Aye, okay. Against? You're a nay?
Yep.
Okay. You guys are voting. Right. And thank you for coming. We like to see homeowners. It's
How
nice to
long
see.
ago was that? A year ago? No.
No,
No, the first set of
Sure.
drawings, that's on your
It's
drawing
like,
date.
mid-June.
Yeah, the
Well,
first,
hey.
it was 4/21, then 6/6, and then 11/16.
March.
Yeah.
No,
So you've had
June.
some time there.
That's a long time ago.
Oh,
Okay.
we filed it in March, but we didn't do the first meeting until June.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Okay, next up is 16 Willis Street for demolition evaluation of existing dwelling.
Oh, that was that, right?
16 Willis?
No, but we just approved. Yeah, we approved it.
Hi.
Hi. Can you introduce yourself and spell
Hi.
your last
My-
name, please?
My name's Nicole Adams, ADAMS. I am the architect and agent for 16 Willis Street. I was here, I think, last month, and you asked for some revisions to the facade, and I'd like to show you them.
Okay.
So there were a few concerns. I think the biggest one was that our entry was not right off of the street. So we made some design revisions where we actually moved the house a little bit back and we changed the entry to come off the street. And this is our new elevation up in the upper left-hand corner. So our front door is, you would park right in front here. Our front door is right off the street. There was some question about not wanting so much metal roof or any metal roof at all. So we have two options here with a little bit of metal, which we liked, but understand that the board does not like that. So we showed another option with it being all the asphalt roof. There is a new little, we had to reconfigure the first floor a little bit to get that entry off of the front facade. And so there's a small porch. This is our neighbor just down the street a little bit. So it's not unlike this facade on that 28 or 38 Willis, where they have a little overhang, a little porch, and the front entry right off of the main road there. The other
thing that I think might have come up was windows on the south elevation in the bathroom. So we're showing you this elevation. I think is the best we could do. It's not, the client doesn't really want to have more windows in that bathroom. It's a small bathroom. They feel exposed. They don't want to deal with waterproofing issues in the shower. But if it's something that you feel very strongly about, then that's what we'll do. So I think those were the two main issues, that was brought up.
Okay.
So
Look at the last board members.
the version, I think the metal is so heavy and it makes it really, I think your house is pretty cute, but not with metal. So I'd go for option 2.
Okay.
But I thought, besides, it just completely changes it with that thing going across, that metal. And especially in smaller houses, I've been driving around, and I've gotten even more intense in my feeling that that metal is not really our friend. That it has an it just seems totally out of place, first of all. And there's no subtlety whatsoever. It overpowers your house, so I prefer not to have that on there.
Okay. Jane?
I would agree with Susan on that it's a very small piece of property. It's a smaller home, and I think it would look better without the metal. I think the addition of the bathroom windows help that south elevation not seem so blank. And I think we're on our way.
Can we just look at that?
Why don't we get all the comments, then we'll just for speed here.
Okay.
Nina?
Sure. Yeah, I agree with Jane and Susan's comments.
Okay. Here's what I think. The reordering the door to the front and sort of breaking up the completely straight rhythm across the front of the house makes a huge difference, and I think we can find the front door, and it's more in keeping with what is sort of more harmonious to houses you see on the street and in Southampton. The thing that the 2 bathroom windows do is increase your window-to-wall ratio, because it was sort of severely almost under-fenestrated on that south elevation, so the addition of those 2 windows is actually, I think, improves the house from that perspective. I would agree. I think what I'm hearing is that the board sort of has a universal love of the asphalt as the option across the front of the house.
Okay.
So, back to you. And then we'll take comments from the public.
So, we're happy to move forward with the asphalt and the windows and move forward.
Okay. Are there any comments from the public?
Oh my God, it's
Okay. So then I'm going to motion to approve the application for 16 Willis Street based on the drawings stamped into the village November 15, 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
There you go.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay,
Alex,
so that brings
this
us-
might just be a technical point, but I know that Alice has a particular way of doing the demolition evaluation resolutions.
I thought we did it.
Did we do that last meeting? Just checking.
Did we?
Yes.
I thought
I'd
we
have
did.
to
have to
double
do it
check my
separate.
notes.
That's separately.
Yes.
Okay.
Is
So
it
that was
right?
done.
We usually
It
do
has
it the
to be
first.
Okay.
separate.
I just have these forms
we,
here.
We
so.
took care of that first.
Perfect.
I think in the last
Okay.
meeting. But just so it's on the record one more time, I'm going to motion that we agree to not pursue landmarking for 16 Willis Street. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So now it's on
I
the record.
remember
And
we
if it's
did
not
it
there,
there.
we'll sign it again.
Okay, great.
But
I
I'm
think there
pretty
should be
sure.
a form with
We
that
did
address.
Yes, we did it in the last, because normally we do that before we look at the house.
Thank you for indulging me.
No, thank you. It's okay, you're indulging us by being here.
All right, so now we're doing.
Okay, 1750 Meadow.
board members, Michael Lamont, L-O-M-O-N-T, from senior partner from Stell Lamont Rahani Architects in Bridgehampton, for more than 25 years now. I'm here with Henry Ghostbrook and his son, the owners of 1750. We also have Frank Guitard, John Whelan from SL Architects, and we also have John Bennett as agent for the owner as well.
Okay.
I think that we were gonna try to separate this per the last meeting, just talk about demolition first before we talk about the proposed design. That's my understanding of how that was the preferred direction to take. So I think we'll start looking at the existing house and go through the demolition aspect first. So the board asked us to provide some further information on the original, let me just wait for a second to get this up here. Information on the original architects of the house. We did a FOIL request to the building department. The only thing that was available in the building department records that we found was the original building permit application in 1993.
Okay.
The name of the architects were called Suter and Suter.
Oh, okay.
And we don't have any knowledge of what other work that they've done. We did a pretty exhaustive searching for either design awards or publications or other projects, and we could not find anything.
Okay.
They have an office apparently they have an office in, it was Bohemia or Oakdale.
Yep.
So we submitted that as a letter of support. So I think now we can just segue into aspects of the current house.
If I may, the existing home was, John Bennett, the existing home was constructed in approximately 1989. Since it's less than 70 years old and it's not in the historic district, it was presumably would have been referred to committee of two. We submitted, doesn't meet the criterion. The existing home does not exemplify or possess special character or historic aesthetic interest or value as part of the political, economic, or social history of the Southampton village. Was constructed in '89. Doesn't have any extraordinary or significant historic aesthetic interest. It's not identified with any person or event significant in local, state, or national history. The prior owner was a client of ours, George Votis, who is a technology investor. He's still alive. Prior to Mr. Votis, the owning the property was owned by Lowell Harwood, who is a real estate developer and specializing in parking lots. We have no record of any identification with any persons in significant in local, state, or national history. It doesn't embody the distinguishing characteristics of a type, period, or method of construction or design. As noted in Mr. Lamont's submission, the building department doesn't even have the original architectural plans for the existing home. He talked about
which is crazy.
Suter. The home does not embody distinguishing characteristics of type, period, or method of construction. I'm not aware of this home being listed on any inventory of modern homes, be it a long list, a medium list, or a short list.
Okay.
It's located 200 feet on the south side of 200 feet south of Meadow Lane, fairly expansive beach south of the existing home, not terribly visible. And again, I looked separately for Suter and Suter. I couldn't locate a monograph of their work.
I'm just going to move us along here, okay? Because we've all now looked at it and we've all done the same research.
Great.
So what I'm going to do is open to the board members. And does anyone have any reason? Would anyone support landmarking this house?
No.
No.
Great, so
Not
I'm
with
going
the given
so then I'm going
information.
to motion that the Board of Architecture Review and Historic Preservation move to not pursue landmarking at 1750 Meadow Lane. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Nina, you and I?
Yes, was everyone in favor of that motion?
Okay.
Thanks.
So now we can move on.
So that closes out the demolition conversation. Okay.
The way that it works is if it's outside the historic district and it's put in front of us, we have two choices. We can move to landmark or not. And if we don't move to landmark, then that frees the building inspector to sign for demolition.
Terrific. Okay. Well, thanks very much.
Sure.
Okay, so you want to just bring up the first page, first pages of the presentation. As I mentioned, we're an architectural firm based in Bridgehampton for many years, specializing in waterfront homes. In the last 25 years, we've received more than 60 AI design awards and have numerous publications. So we take our design work in designing the houses very seriously, and I feel like we have an excellent reputation in doing so. The original application, we were in front of the ZBA board for over 2 years, and then working with the ZBA, we ultimately received unanimous approval. The proposed house, as John mentioned, it's approximately almost 200 feet from Meadow Lane, and we're about 360 feet to the crest of the dunes. And then there's another 300 feet from the crest of the dunes to actually the mean high water mark at the beach. So it's a very long lot. I think as I mentioned, we received letters of support from both neighbors at our, throughout the application process. So I think the merits of the site plan, just to talk a little bit about the site, I know that's less in your purview than the architecture, but the site currently consists of what was determined from all the consultants as a very low-quality wetland, was basically a low spot. So the owner's working with the board. LaGuardia Landscape Design actually has expanded, significantly expanded a landscape buffer in the front. The entire property is going to be re-landscaped with native vegetation, but LaGuardia Design worked very closely with the village consultants and other wetland consultants, so we were actually called, those discussions that this was a model application in the village of having no irrigated lawn, which there exists a substantial amount of lawn currently in the property. So I'm just scroll to the next. We can scroll through the pages because I know we've kind of gone through this before. Just starting a little bit about the
If you
architecture.
just want to, we've seen this before, so if you just want to
Yeah.
go
I'll
ahead
try
and
to
tell
go
us what the
quickly. Okay.
changes are, that would be great.
So we can go straight to the elevation. So we, at our last meeting, there was discussions about, the amount of glass. So if starting with the elevation at the top, the elevation facing Meadow Lane, we are currently showing a solid wood front door.
Well, there was a change in response to a comment from the board, no?
Yes,
Yes, it was.
that would respond to on a couple of different levels for the glass and the concept of glass front door in general. That seemed to be a theme that came up a couple of times. So we decided to change the front door from glass to a solid wood door. The side door, which is a sort of a mudroom door, which was previously all glass, we actually changed that to solid as well to match the adjacent siding. As we go around to the east side there was no changes on the east side to the west side. The west side, as you see in the middle of the page, there was a span of glass that was about 8+ or so feet, actually at the top elevation. Let's go to the south side first, sorry. So there was a span of glass between the living room and the kitchen that was glass, and we decided to convert that to solid, separating the kitchen from the living room. On the east elevation at the bottom, we reduced the width. There's a slot window in the kitchen. That door is actually going into kind of another mudroom, but there's a slot window in the kitchen that faces west there, so we reduced the size of that. And there was also discussion going up to the roof plan. There was discussion about the amount of skylight that was potentially visible, and it actually shows up. We revised all of our renderings to show that. So we eliminated, there was a skylight that came down across the hall to the living room. So we eliminated that whole section of skylight. It's about 50 linear feet by about 5 feet wide of skylight that was coming down, that there was a comment that may be visible from the front of the house, at least in the front, if you're in the front yard. So we eliminated that. There still is the skylight. The house is a double-loaded corridor with bedrooms on each side. So we kept a portion of the skylight there to keep but it's actually not visible from the street because it's in a corridor. When you look at the plan, you have a series of bedrooms on both sides. And that's actually the extent of the changes there. And we revised the renderings. We included some night renderings that actually Frank can bring up on the screen. The material palette is the same, that we're talking about using a weathered Sapelli mahogany, FSC certified, which will weather to a natural gray, a cement panel, which is a very high-quality one. Not, there's other ones out there that are a little bit more industrial. This is called Swiss Pearl, and it's a very durable maintenance matte gray panel. And then for the pavers, we're proposing using Madras gray limestone pavers, which is sort of a light innocuous gray. And then for the sides of the planters as you enter the house, we're using a textured board form, which has sort of the relief, still a neutral gray, but has the relief of the board within the form. Do you want to go to we revised the renderings to show these changes, and we included some night renderings per the request of the board at the last meeting.
Yes, I see. Thank you.
And as you see from the bottom rendering, that's taken from the approximately the mean high water. A little above that, it's a little bit lower when you're down there, but that's basically the foot of the first dune. So the entire first floor pool area, everything at the ground level, even after it's elevated per the requirements of FEMA, it's not visible. So if you want to go to the next one. And then from the street, one of the things that we mentioned before, that left view is actually once you come in the driveway, we actually have the driveway curves around this revegetated native landscape. So there's actually, when you're going down Meadow Lane, you're not actually going to be looking down the driveway. It'll be actually looking through a screened native vegetated grove. So that's taken right inside the driveway. And I mentioned before about the materials. We're proposing a very high performance glass, which is called SN68, which has a light transmittance of 70, so it's a 30% reduction over clear glass. In terms of some of the environmental components of that, we're proposing a closed loop geothermal system. There'll be 25 kilowatts of solar power on the roof. That'll be flat, that won't be visible. High performance insulation package and a high performance glass package, as I mentioned.
Okay. Board members.
If I could just interject one thing, if I may. Working on this was reminiscent to a certain degree of the Roger Ferris design at 569 Ox Pasture. You'll all remember that. And one of the significant things about that was with the substantial overhangs. So the glass is not, for example, like an approval that I worked on down at 320 Murray, where the glass is right at the front. These are significantly setback. The Ferris designs were 5 to 6 feet. I think we have 5 to 10 feet on some of these.
We have 5 and the other place is 10, where there's deep overhangs in the front and the back.
So I know that was very meaningful to the board on the 569 Ox Pasture.
We're also proposing wood ceilings, which we thought, in addition to cutting down the light transmittance, the glass, that the wood ceilings would actually reduce any reflectivity.
Yep, they'll absorb. That'd be great. Board members. Nina, let's start with you.
Can you go back to the daytime, the elevations, the front?
To 2D elevations.
I think it's improved in terms of the rendering. There was one that I feel is greatly improved. I think you made it more like a half, so it's sort of seems like it's more broken up in the 2 volumes in the north view.
Let's get there for you.
And I think the east and the west views I've always found those fine. The view facing the beach to the south still seems massive. And not broken up. We see so many of those along the beach, these big glass boxes, rectangles. What you've done in the north facade is that works. It seems it's got rhythm and it's got variety. I think from an energy perspective, glass facing south is good, but I think it's just too much glass right on the beach and not broken up enough. Volume is just massive. Maybe you could bring some of what you did on the north facade into the south.
Susan?
I don't have anything to say right now.
Okay. Jane?
I'll say a definite improvement, not having the glass front doors, and side door. It does still seem to have a great amount of ratio of glass to wall on the south side.
Can you blow that, can I get it more centered on that back, on the south side there? That's it. Can you go in a bit closer? Thank you. So where is that, is there any attempt to break it up?
Well, I think that the panel between, the solid panel between the kitchen and the living room, which is at the lower left part of the screen.
Yeah, I see that.
And then there's all of the bedrooms on the right side actually have a low wall. I don't know if you could see that, but there's a low knee wall in all of the bedrooms facing south on the right side, and there's a low knee wall in the bedrooms above. And we intentionally, in terms of the energy for the south side, that the overhangs are very deep on the south side, on both the lower and the upper floor. So part of that was to, once again, as John mentioned, pushing the glass back and then having a lightness to it. And then also, cutting down any light reflectivity as a result of that. But I think when you look at the site section that we included in our presentation, that this view is seen from the backyard, that the dunes go up to elevation 16. So this is actually tucked in a lower part of the site. So the crest of the dunes go up to elevation 16, about 350 feet away. So that's why we took the renderings from front and from further back and then from further back. And in terms of breaking up the scale of it, I mean, our take is that, trying to keep things calm goes a long way for modern architecture to kind of sit. The landscape is going to grow in. There's a substantial effort to revegetate the site. So keeping things calm, at least in my opinion, actually helps the building sort of set in the landscape, as opposed to arbitrarily breaking up into multiple volumes and having a lot more interesting things going on.
I'm more interested in the actual light pollution.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not arguing with your design, and I hear that it's set back, but when I look at it, it's all glass.
Yeah, one thing also is dunes do come and go according to what happens. Right now, we have a lot of beach down there on Meadow, but we don't always. And so right now, it's very, very limited view from the beach.
Mm-hmm.
But that may not always be the way.
Well,
I do appreciate you using the natives and not having irrigation and not having grass lawns down in that neighborhood where they just seem so out of place.
Mm-hmm.
So I do appreciate that. It does just seem like there's still a very large ratio of glass.
Just in terms of the depth, if I can respond, having represented the board, the client before the zoning board of appeals and the other environmental agencies, the dune crest is about 300 feet. This is a very, very, very deep lot because of the accretion that comes from the sand being caught at the groin at the inlet. So in the last 20 years, actually, gladly, this dune and the beach in front of it has grown approximately 150 feet.
No, I know, I'm just saying, if we had a hurricane like 38, I mean, everything's changing. So
Well-
it's very possible that we could have a very bad storm in the next few years, and we may not have dunes like
No,
that.
I know, but I'm saying, to use an unfortunate example, I mean, this is not a situation, for example, like the Bathing Corporation, where you will have during flood events inundation of the property. The dune crest itself is 300 feet from the structure. I actually photographed this one time, made sure I paced off, went down to the average high water mark, which, as everyone knows, is the property line, and it's hard to see the existing house, and as you can see, it's going to be a similar thing. Really, the whole idea is to capture afford the views from the second story, plus the glass, which is not atypical of many of the houses that even this board, as constituted, has approved.
Yes,
Much
but
more
dark
glass.
skies you know, things have changed.
Well, dark skies deals with outside
Here-
fixtures only.
Here's where I think we're
No,
netting
it
out.
deals with the light.
Yeah. Here's where I think we're
Your
netting
property
out.
projects.
I think we're netting out that on your north elevations, the street-facing elevations, the changes you've made are very well appreciated. I think what you're not getting support for right now, and I'm not hearing support for, is the south elevation, because there's literally no walls, and it's what almost appears as almost 100% glass across the back of that house. So I think if you could take sort of the energy that you've put toward the comments and changes you've made to the north elevation to bringing down the amount of glass exposure to the back of the house, then we'd probably be in a good place.
I think that sounds like a good strategy, but the north side of the house is facing the street and the south side is facing the beach, which is why the
I
owner
understand that,
purchased
but
this
what I'm,
property.
what I'm telling you is, what I'm hearing from the people that are up here that have to vote to approve this, you're not getting support for the amount of glass you have across the south elevation. What they'd like to see is a little bit less glass on the back of this house, and that's what I'm hearing.
Okay, well, as part of the next presentation, because obviously it's not gonna go forward this time, what we're gonna show you is the percentage-wise, the amount of glass that has been, freely given on houses in this area, including houses approved by the board as constituted. And there have been no code changes, and it would be inconsistent to hold this applicant to a higher and a different standard. But we'll come back and demonstrate that to you.
All right, do we have any comments from the public?
And in terms of comments from the public, don't forget that both neighbors are in support of this application, and there are
Please, John,
effectively
John,
no
I know how
neighbors
to
to the
get
north.
comments for the public.
So
Please go
I
ahead.
am a neighbor, I'm Leslie
Great.
Harwood, I live next door. We are supportive of the, they've been very careful with the, there's a tree between us, and they've been very nice and talked about the separation and keeping our privacy and respecting that, so we appreciate that very much. The owner's here as well.
Great.
The other thing I would say, they said that Lowell Harwood built the house. He didn't. That's my dad. He built our house, and he was proudly in the parking business, and I appreciate that. But I will say that we have a paved driveway, and we're getting rid of it. So I want you to know that as well. But I will say the house was built by George Mossbacher. I'm living in my house 37 years, and they built that house way back when. There's no kitchen because she never cooked. So if they should take the house.
We learn a lot, we learn a lot about people in these meetings.
You learn a lot about, when you're living somewhere for such a long time. But whatever, I just brought a little.
Great, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, so you've heard the comments of the board. Do you think you can be ready for the 9th?
Excuse me?
Can you be ready for December the 9th?
Absolutely.
Okay, so you'd like us to adjourn this to the 9th? Great. Okay. Motion to adjourn 1750 Meadow Lane to December 9th. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Okay.
Moving right along. Not really. Not so bad.
Not so bad. Okay, so that takes us now to new matters. The first is 78 Hilda Street, 64 Meadow Lane. No, 64 Woolley is adjourned, so
Yeah,
we're
it's
at
78 Hilda.
we're at 78 Hilda Street.
Is there anyone here for that?
78 Hilda Street?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi there. The record may reflect that I have the affidavits for
And they're in
78
order?
Hildreth. They're in order.
Great, thank you. Okay. You guys have become friends with those microphones, and introduce yourselves and spell your last names for the recording secretary, please.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Pratt from Pratt and Black Architects. That's P-R-A-T-T.
I'm David Black from Pratt and Black Architects, B-L-A-C-K.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
And welcome. Okay?
Thank you.
I think that's trying to see how I joined the meeting.
And this is, if this is all correct here, this is an application for conversion of pre-existing detached garage and pergola into a single-story cabana with shower.
Correct.
Yes.
Fantastic. Rolling.
Okay. So I just a moment to share. Okay. Yes, we are here today to propose to convert a pre-existing non-compliant single-story garage in the rear of the property to a single-story cabana with a powder room, outdoor shower, a mini-split air conditioning unit that is cooling only, no heat. And we were also going to relocate the existing pool mechanical equipment into a shed on the property.
Okay.
Is that, does it say that in there?
So on the plans, on,
Are you building the shed?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Are you building a shed for?
It's a shed enclosure for the pool equipment.
Uh-huh.
It's separate from the actual cabana.
We're not zoning, I'm just wondering, it doesn't seem to be.
We understood that because it's enclosed and roofed, it could be 10 feet from the property line.
I'm not gonna say one way or the other, okay?
No, we met with Chris Talbot and we went over all
It's
the.
just not on your, what we see here doesn't mention it, so I just.
So it says, there's on this sheet, it says, new pool equipment shed,
What sheet?
A004 on the screen now.
Oh, no, but the notice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm very careful about this stuff. I've run into trouble in the past, just telling you.
All right, so what you're proposing is a big glass box.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just what we were talking about.
Yeah.
But
Right, so,
I did go back there.
yeah. So it's in the rear yard. It's not, there's a small view corridor where you can see the structure, but is not very visible from the street. So the existing single-story garage was used just for storage and for the pool equipment room, the pool equipment. And now they want to make it into just a single room, the exact same size as the existing garage plus the pool equipment. And it's literally just a one big room with a countertop, no cooking equipment. And then the addition of the powder room complies with all the setbacks. It is being done in addition to the garage. And then there's an outdoor shower.
So
And
because,
the pool shed.
okay.
Yeah.
Because this is a pre-existing non-conforming structure, and the current existing garage, you're not adding anything dimensionally outside what is currently there, right?
We are.
So we are adding something that is within the allowable setback for a cabana. So this
Right.
addition of this little powder room is setback-wise off of the property line to adhere to that restriction.
The new addition, this powder room, would be compliant with all the new,
Okay,
with
I
all
see.
the
So
existing
you're in
setbacks.
10 feet to the accessory boundary for where you're pushing out for the bathroom.
Correct.
Okay.
Would you say we're not within the 10 feet?
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
So we're not increasing the non-compliance.
Okay, so far we have an all-metal roof and an all-glass building.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, here are the materials, existing garage. And I'll just go to the beautiful renderings. Yes, an all-glass structure, glass sliding doors. And then the new pool shed and the powder room are wood siding.
And the roof is standing seam in gray mat?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, do you have a sample of it?
Not a physical sample with us.
So there's standing seam and then there's standing seam in my head, because some of it's much grosser and sort of intense.
Okay.
industrial looking.
This would
that we're
not be the
talking
gross
about.
industrial looking kind.
Okay.
This would be the high quality
I hope
residential
so,
looking kind.
because the other one is,
Okay.
you drive
Well, let's-
around, you can see
Bo-
the other thing.
Board members, give comments first about the all-glass building. Let's just start there.
It's back in the back. I don't actually think it's such a big deal. And it's not very big. We're not talking about,
It doesn't seem to complement
The
the
house?
home itself.
Yeah,
The-
well-
The original home, which is very classic Southampton. I don't know if, I'm just doing this because that's all anybody else is seeing is that, but this is the home.
Mm-hmm.
And it just doesn't seem that it's complementing the home. And the fact that it's all glass and very modern looking, maybe take that garage that's there and just add some glass to that.
Well, I think that's what they're doing.
No, I'm saying don't get rid of the garage.
Oh.
Leave the garage and just maybe renovate the garage a little bit.
Well,
The garage is in
garage
disarray.
is falling apart.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's rotting and the doors don't work and the siding is.
There's a picture of the garage.
Yeah, it's.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I went back there.
Yeah.
I don't mind your design.
Okay.
What about that beautiful wisteria?
Well, I don't, it's a very small
Okay.
backyard, let's
Nina,
face
do you,
it.
do you have, Nina, do you have any comments?
Yes, I feel like it's an iconic, simple, a fun sort of play on the shed, the classic shed, and I would ask that it would stand on its own, and that you would remove or you'd separate the wooden box from it, so that it would stand on its own as a sort of iconic classical shed structure. But detach that box so that it can stand on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe move the wisteria near it, which is a local plant, just an idea. If you had a shower with a wisteria wall, for example. But it stands on its own as a classic, simple architectural structure. I think it complements a traditional house.
Okay.
I already said, I'm down with it.
Okay. Any comments from the public?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
My name is Robert Essay. I've served 10 years on the Architectural Review Board and 10 years on the Planning Commission. I also lived on that street. I have no objection about the garage being converted to pool house, but that house was a 3-bedroom house. Now, if I remember correctly, the village code is you have a 3-bedroom house, you need 4 parking spaces. If you look at that yard now, they only have 2. They've shortened the driveway up, and they're doing that throughout the whole village. Now, in the summertime, when you try to go down that street, the off-road parking on both sides of the road, you could not get through with a fire truck. So if they're gonna start converting these garages over to pool houses, they're gonna have to figure out how they're gonna add the parking to the area. That's my main objection.
Okay.
I think that's actually, how
I'm
many
gonna throw that
bedrooms
to,
are
I'm
in
gonna
this?
throw that to Alex. Or
So a 3-bedroom house requires 2 parking spaces, which
Do you
this
have to, it was short.
provide.
What is that?
The driveway, I walked down it.
Mm-hmm.
Does it fit 2 cars?
It's definitely long enough for 2 cars.
Okay.
2 cars is all that could be stacked, you know?
Yes, I understand
right.
that.
So with or without this building serving as
Well,
a
they-
garage, they would have 2 parking spaces.
They already weren't using it as a garage. That was obvious when I went down there, being the building detective that I am. It's so annoying.
Okay.
Well, I think according to village code, because it's the site plan is signed off, it's not really in front of us, but you're right. They need to have 2 parking spaces, which is required for the 3-bedroom house. And it has to be on-site parking. It doesn't be garage parking. But apparently they haven't been using this garage as parking, and there apparently is parking on site, which is why the building department actually signed off on it as approved for parking from a parking perspective. Because you're right.
I kind of remember when I was on board, it was at least 3 parking spaces you need for a 3-bedroom house.
No,
No,
it's,
sadly.
it's for a 3-bedroom house requires 2, and then it's a parking space for each additional
And
bedroom.
it depends if it's still a 3-bedroom house, because I think our house was originally owned by Ben Rhodes originally. And all those houses along that side of the street were owned by the Bennett family. They were all related to John Bennett. His aunts or uncles or great aunts. So that was all Bennett Row along that line.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the public? All right, well, I'm going to motion to accept the application for 78 Hill Street from drawings. Hildreth Street, sorry, from drawings days 10/21/2024. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm opposed. You're opposed?
One opposed. Okay.
Make your vote known. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
All right, that brings us to 57 First Neck Lane.
Well, I haven't.
We
that-
have an issue. We have
we
a
have an issue with
issue.
the-
Do you have affidavits?
I'm
from
sorry,
the board?
I do have an affidavit of posting.
Yes,
and-
it's
and of
posted in the
mailing.
wrong place, that's the problem.
So
It's
the
posted
the
down
method
the
of
flag
the
lot.
posting.
It's not on the street.
I just assumed it had to be in front of the house.
No, it has
Well,
to, it has
that's
to be visible from the
erroneous.
street. So if it's a flag lot, it has to be within X number of feet of the front of the
And it's,
street.
so there's no way to know. So we can't deal with it. You're gonna have to.
We actually can.
Oh,
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hear the application tonight, but then we have to leave it open.
Okay.
So it can be reposted. So there's, explain, Alex, we went through this. Explain.
We can renotice it for the next meeting and have a new posting and mailing done.
Okay, because we'll have to leave it open so it's properly posted, so people could make public comment.
Should I present it or?
Yes.
wait for the next meeting?
And is that 10 feet maximum is the setback for signs from the street?
Right.
So it has to be posted on First Neck?
yeah.
Yes, within 10 feet. The reason being, if someone's driving by, they can see it posted that there's a house that they need to be considered, and if it's all the way back and you can see it from the street, they're not made aware.
Okay.
And it's way back there.
It is, yeah.
It's lovely back there.
It's nice. It's a
Okay.
nice surprise back there. We are just planning to add a primary bedroom addition onto the first floor. And just really, it's an 80s house. It was a house built in the 80s. We're gonna match all of the materials and wood shingle, siding, roof, and double hung windows.
It's just that sideways extension.
Yes.
Okay. Can you put the pictures on the screen for everyone, please? Okay, board members.
I think it's fine.
Nina?
Yeah,
I'm fine with it.
It goes with the house. It's-
Yep.
I like the whole thing back there. I thought it was
Oh, I
pretty
think it's great.
enchanting.
The property
Okay,
is
so-
amazing.
What's the
Okay.
motion here?
So-
Basically, what you're hearing is you're not hearing objections from the board, but now we're gonna have to leave it open so the public can make comments.
Oh,
So
okay.
you're gonna
So
have to
you
renotice.
can adjourn it pending renotice.
Okay.
The 11/9 notice is already in the paper, so if we have to put it back in the paper, it would have to be for the following meeting.
You mean the 12th?
I'm sorry, 12/9, yes.
So it'd have to be for January,
Something ninth, what is it, the 13th?
what's 14 days, the 13th?
13th.
Yep. Okay. So motion to adjourn the application for 57 First Neck for renotice and adjourn to.
And posting.
Notice and posting adjourn to January 13th. Is that correct? 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
Second,
All in
Great.
favor?
Thank you.
okay.
All right, so that brings us to 90 Murray Lane. Do you have affidavits and are they in order?
Yes, I do. We have a hand up on the Zoom meeting.
Oh,
Yes.
for the previous
the previous-
application?
No,
Or for
For 90 Murray?
Okay.
Yep, I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
And you are
Hi, everybody. My name's Tanner White. I'm the architect for 90 Murray Lane. I'm joined here by the homeowner Philip Guerin and also the landscape architect Jenna Krapinski. If you guys don't mind, the homeowner actually just wanted to make a brief introduction before I made my presentation.
Okay. Can you turn your camera on?
Yep. Phil, you gotta unmute yourself.
And you still have to unmute. We can't hear you, sir.
I'll give it like another
Okay.
couple seconds. Sorry about this, guys. Oh, there he goes.
Nope.
Nope.
Well, nice to see you.
see
Nice
you.
to see you. Nice to see you, homeowner.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Now
there
we
you
can
are.
hear you. Thank you. All right. I apologize for that, everyone. I'm not the most technically savvy person there is. I'm Phil Guerin, 90 Murray Lane in Southampton. I've been in Southampton going on 10 years now. 6 years prior in Watermill, and the last 4 at 90 Murray Lane. My neighbors, it's a great neighborhood. I love the village. Very happy with my purchase. I think it's such a beautiful area. My neighbors joke that my house stands out, but not in a positive way. I think they joke it may fit in Lake Como, but not in Southampton. So look, my architect Tanner, I think, has done a great job trying to build more of a transitional. I definitely don't want a modern box. Like the little modern aspect inside, but with a traditional feel. Look, my wife and I are going to spend our life savings on this house. We love the area. My whole intent was to find, a phenomenal area in Southampton Village. I did that. And I look forward to Tanner presenting that to you. And with that, I just want to tell everybody here, I appreciate your time tonight. And I wish all your families a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's deal with the first issue first, which is we're going to have to. This is an application for a demo and a new build. So I think probably the first thing let's attack is the demo. Now, if memory serves, this house sat for years, unfinished. So I'm like, no, it did for like 5 or 6 years, and then they finished it, and then the applicant bought it. And in looking at this house, just asking the board, would any of you support landmarking this house?
No.
Okay. Nina?
It's really something.
Okay, because again, we're not in the historic district. So what I'm going to motion then is I'm going to motion that the Architecture Review Board will not pursue landmarking at 90 Murray Lane, which is the motion we have to, well, let's do the motion
thank you.
first. Will not pursue landmarking for 90 Murray Lane. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nina?
Okay.
Aye, okay.
Passes.
That's the motion we have to take to sort of approve the demo process. Okay, now let's go to the proposed replacement.
Should I present now?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So as I said, I'm Tanner White. I'm the principal of the architecture firm Tanner White Architects. Up in front of you right now is 90 Murray Lane. This is just a sketch rendering. As Bill was saying, this is the property right here. It's down a dead-end street, and this property right behind him actually has been developed already. So it's actually a lot larger than this. I'm going to show you that in a little bit. But this is the property in question. Again, it was built in 1986, totally renovated in 1996. It is what it is. So we are, and this is actually a glimpse of the house that's being built right now, or has finished right now, by Ike Kligerman Barkley. Like Phil said, we are basically proposing to build a transitional house, pulling off of the gables and shingle style houses that we see in the neighborhood, and also in putting some glass in order to get some views of the water and daylight, of course. So this is the existing site plan here, and obviously we're going to remove the 2-story house and garage, the pool, and we're going to build in its place a new single-family home, and then a detached garage and accessory structure. So this is the new proposed site plan here. So coming in from the same spot that the current driveway is in, we're gonna go to a simple parking court, continue on to the detached garage over here, where you will go through a covered walkway to get to the main house. And then you have 2 accessory detached structures here in the pool. There's a proposed 1-story pool house and then a proposed covered patio. All right, so then again, just to orient you, this is Murray Lane right here. The water is right here, and we're one row back from the beach. So this is the photorealistic rendering of what we're proposing tonight. It's a combination of stained cedar shingles, painted trim, charcoal windows, natural cedar roof, and a brick chimney. This is the detached garage over there that I was talking about, the covered pathway here, and then this would be your front entrance over here. This is the front, so as you can see, there's some shed dormers, and then some sort of 1-story elements here, which kind of break up the mass in an architecturally interesting way that we tied to this covered pathway over here. And then we wrap it around in the back, where it's a little bit more clean and open, obviously, to the views. And so this is the rear. There's, again, the detached garage right there. And then it's covered by this fascia that wraps, or the frieze really, that wraps across the mid of the house, integrating the covered porches and overhangs up into the balconies on the 2nd floor. Again, the only thing that's incorrect about this rendering is that this is showing it as stone, but all of our actual architectural documents have been corrected to show that it is going to be brick. So stained shingles, natural shingle roof, charcoal windows, white dove, painted trim basically throughout, and that's our color palette that we're presenting in front of you today. There's another house within you guys' jurisdiction, is 65 Cooper's Neck. This house was drawn a lot of inspiration from. This house is proposed to be built by SPP Homes out of Greenwich. They've built a couple of houses in Southampton, including 65 Cooper's Neck, which a lot of the inspiration was drawn from. So you'll see, again, the same similar elements. It's actually this exact same color palette that we're proposing: natural cedar roof, stained cedar siding, white dove, and charcoal windows. So this color palette, which you can see at 65 Cooper's Neck, as well as a lot of the architectural features that are on this house, for example, the 1.5-story kind of flat roof pieces that are interjecting in between the architecture, the hip roofs, and the rear design with the clear glass and, again, little flat roof structures across the back, as well as a contrasting pool house, was our inspiration behind the design of 90 Murray. As I mentioned, I'm also here with Jenna Kopinski, who is the landscape architect. And so I'm going to keep going, and then I'll circle back so that she can present her concept, because there's just a few more slides to get through. So this is going to include the gate, as well as the planting list. And then something that's noteworthy is, the 90 Murray is a dead-end street, and basically this is a picture taken looking back towards the house. As you can see, you'll really only be seeing the top of the roof and the chimneys. So all of the elements on the 1st and 2nd floor are really going to be shielded by the proposed landscape plan. The rest of the architectural drawings are less visual floor plans, which I'm happy to go through these.
Nope, they're not.
As well.
Interiors are not in our purview, please. We just look at the exterior.
Right. I'm just glazing through them, and then of course at the end, the architectural 2D elevations, which show the sky plane, and basically the two-dimensional representation of the house. And as you can see again here, everything's been called out between the painted trim, the painted white dove trim, the stained shingles, the natural cedar roof, and the charcoal windows, brick chimneys, and then again, flat square columns kind of wrapping throughout the house.
Okay.
This is the south elevation, and then this would be the west elevation.
Okay.
And then last but not least, the north elevation, which kind of cuts through that one-story loggia or covered walkway connecting the house to the garage. And then these are some less photorealistic but more descriptive axonometrics or perspectives, I should say, of the proposed house. So here's some bird's eye views, and basically, here's a fly around of the house and all of the detached structures. So moving right along to the detached structures, this is just basically an open pavilion. It's nothing more than a couple of square columns, a brick chimney, and a pitched cedar roof. And then referencing Cooper's Neck, we also were doing a modern pool house, or a one-story, 10-foot high sort of contrasting modern element similar to that house, where we have it's a gym and a bathroom really in there, and it's just a series of sliding doors on a one-story flat roof that's going to be surrounded by landscaping. And this is some more images of that structure, and then more images of the covered patio. This is a wall section, and this is your street view showing the sky plane, and the rest are architectural sections. So I'm going to pass it on to Jenna, who's going to raise her hand as well, and she can kind of go through the landscape plan, and then of course any questions that you guys have, I'm here to answer as well. Jenna, are you here?
We can't hear Jenna.
We can't. Does she exist on this?
Good evening. My name is Jenna Kopinska. I'm a landscape architect from Big Studio, and Phil challenged me to design a landscape plan for his new house in Hamptons. The existing driveway will partially remain where it is. The entrance from the Murray Lane will be the same. The columns are going to be moved slightly into the away from the edge of the road. In the front of the new residence, I would like to propose more formal architectural landscape with alley of shade trees, with hedge of the bleached hornbeams surrounding that will be surrounded the entry court, and then hedges of evergreen hedges in front of the main entry to the house, with blooming shrubs to bring more color to the front. The existing hedges along the property boundaries will remain as is. They're not going to be removed. They will provide privacy from the road and also privacy from the surrounding neighbors. Where we are inside the property boundaries, and in the sides and the rear, I would like to propose more informal landscape designs with native and non-invasive, non-native plantings that are proven for the seaside property, and they also will provide extensive blooms. It's like 4-season blooming from early spring till late fall, with evergreen accents closer to the structures like the pool house or the covered cabana. One of the elements by the pool will be a sunken fire pit with the acrylic section of the wall that will provide some interesting effects in the evening hours with the fire going and the lights inside the pool. Few requests that the clients had is to the spot for the small putting green and then bocce court, which right now are proposed to be behind the covered structure.
Okay, thank you. Okay, board members.
I'm not sure if you mentioned the trees. I didn't hear everything you were saying. There are very mature trees on the property. Those are remaining?
That's exactly. This is a remaining linden tree. The rest of the trees that are there, unfortunately, would need to come down because of the of the new house construction. They also have a lot of V-shaped branches, which over time will, even if the tree will remain, that may create danger for any structures raised on the property because of, the branches are quite unstable and they are weak and may be broken by the heavy winds.
So the 4 mature trees in the driveway, you're planning on taking them down?
No, those trees are, I'm sorry, the tree in a light green, this is the existing tree that will be remain. And the trees along the driveway that between the entry to the property and the entry court, those are the new trees. Those are a variety of the native red maples, I'm sorry.
But those are new trees, those are not existing.
Those are new trees, yes.
Right, so the one tree they're keeping is that historic, is that big tree that's by
The
driveway.
ones that you see the X's, those are the existing trees that will be taken down.
Okay. All right, well, let's talk about the house.
I had a question. You mentioned something about brick was not portrayed, and I wasn't sure where that was supposed to be.
I'm sorry?
Back to the architect about the house.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the brick. So at the time that we had this rendering, there was a couple of back and forths that I made with the town, and one of them was to change the stone rendering from this fieldstone look to brick. And so we've done that, and that's what's in our official application in terms of all of the architectural two-dimensional elevations. As you can see, it's called out as brick chimney. It's just on these photorealistic renderings. It looks like it's stone. We're not proposing a fieldstone veneer.
Okay, I
anywhere.
wasn't sure what that was, so I wanted clarification on that. The ratio of your glass to your wall, especially on the ocean-facing side, seems excessive. And we're usually not very fond of the charcoal windows. You probably don't have the sample since you're on Zoom, but like how dark is the charcoal for the trim on the windows? Dark.
But
Yeah, like I said, the color palette is the same as this house, which is 65 Cooper's Neck.
Okay.
We're working on your house, not Cooper's Neck.
No, I know. I'm sorry. I just was. I felt it was
did
helpful.
work. Okay.
Okay. Susan?
I think, it's just, I find because it's the front, I don't know what to say. There's way too many windows is what I think. And I find it discordant, really. I can't say that, it just seems like it's excessive. The back, both the front and the back, and they're very different, by the way.
Yeah, very different. I'll agree with that.
So there's
Susan,
like a
yeah.
front and a back. I don't like either of them. I think that it's just all glass. It's all window. It isn't all glass even. It's to me, I don't like the design of it. I can't help myself.
Nina?
Yeah, it's just way too much black glass.
There are whole stretches of,
Yeah. When you look at the recommendations of Village, we have recommended wall-to-window ratios. And this is well outside of that, and also the windows are so large against the size of the walls that it looks, frankly, it looks like a commercial building instead of a residential building. So I think it feels like, and what I'm hearing is all the window to wall ratio needs to come down by probably 20 to 25% because these are a massive amount of windows. The other thing that I'm thinking about is when we look at the west elevation, the way this property sits, it sits very closer to the ocean on the ocean side, which is the south side, and over that hedge are two houses that this house actually, the back of this house actually faces that are actually fairly close to the property line. And then you've got this, not only all this glass sliding up facing those two neighbors just over a hedge line, but then with this third floor balcony with all the sliding glass windows, they look straight down into the yards of the two neighbors that face you on the other side between you and the ocean. When we look at the glazing patterns on this thing, you've got, when you look at the east elevation, look at your Muntin pattern on the east elevation that has absolutely no relationship to the Muntin palette on your west elevation. Your north seems to match, but in the south, Muntin patterns seem to match, and that huge side-facing commercial-looking window, is that I don't know if it's a stairwell because I didn't look at the interior of it, but it's all just far too much. The windows, there's barely a freeze board because your windows, frankly, go almost up to the eave line on the house. It's just all too much. The overall shape of the house doesn't seem, it's actually hard to judge because the first thing you're looking at is the glass, but the overall shape doesn't. The two chimneys seem a little large and a little out of scale to me to the size of the house, but when I'm looking at the east elevation, because they're very wide and they're very tall in your drawings, and when you come back to us, your drawings will need to match your renderings. It will need to be one match set that all look alike that we'll want to see. But I don't think you're going to find any support anywhere for the amount of glass and the window to wall ratio you have on this house. And you also need to look at, when you walk around the house, does it look like the same house? Because it really actually kind of doesn't. You've got the same problem exists on the north. Most of the north elevation seems to match the west elevation in terms of its Muntin window patterns, except when we get to the door and the window over the door, and then I don't know, that's the garage. The two windows that are toward the front, it looks like two different houses that are sort of put together. So that's a lot.
Yeah.
But also when I'm looking at your rendering, is that third floor balcony that faces the ocean, I guess it's just in the way that rendering is done, it's harder to see. Is this a glass panel? The way it's drawn, it looks like a glass panel in front of those doors. Is that true?
There's a glass panel as a railing, yes. Correct.
Right, so not only do we have all that light, which is way too much window, and then glass and nothing to stop it heading toward the two neighbors that are between you and the ocean. So I think universally what you're hearing is the scale and proportion of glass to wall is way off. The pool house, I like the pool house. I think the pool house seems to be in harmony with the shape of the house and the idea of what you want to do. And then the pavilion is I guess that's a fireplace. That's just an open pavilion.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. That's it. That seems kind, but I think the place you have to start at is go back to the drawing board on
Walls and the windows.
the walls and windows on the main house. Because I think you're hearing universal across the board from that.
Okay.
Are there
Yeah,
any?
I mean,
Go ahead.
oh, go ahead. No, I mean, it was intentionally done what we did in terms of the Muntin patterns changing. I hear all the comments, and I'm just, these are the views which receive water views. So, on the rear of the house, that's why we opted to remove the Muntin. So when you look at it on these two-dimensional elevations, I do understand the disjointed nature.
Yeah.
However,
And honestly, the back of the house looks like a commercial building.
Okay.
Are there any comments from the public? Okay. So I think you've heard the comments.
Hello.
Hello.
Who's that?
Can I comment?
Who
are you?
Is it a homeowner?
This is Philip Guerin, the homeowner.
Of course you can comment. It's your house.
Look, I would say a couple things. One, I have 15-foot privet around my entire property, and literally don't see anyone. 134 Murray that was just built has a flag driveway into my yard. They recently put up, 20-foot trees down the entire driveway, which, oh, by the way, I'm not actually even complaining about, because my view is he spent on his property. I'm not that type of neighbor. But to spend the money I did on a property to now not have views, I would have never spent the money on this property if not for having ocean views, which, for better or for worse, I need to go up higher and have glass, or I can't see the ocean. And again, now I have trees that are arguably way higher than I had in the past before that new home was built.
Okay, I hear you, but the human height on that window, look at those windows you have facing the ocean. The human height on those windows is about a third the way up. How tall is that window?
But I guess my question is this, I didn't appreciate, not liking someone's style to me is very different than a lot of other things. I totally heard, I've been on since 6 o'clock. I've heard all your views on, you guys hate the big modern box. I get it. It's very different from Southampton. But what I've tried to create is something more traditional in the front, but basic and not just the plain box. Because I would argue, if you look at the boxes, I walk the beach every weekend, and even the back of my house has significantly less glass than these boxes that are just all glass. And even the one that we talked about tonight, I think it's $1,750. And I know you said you wanted to cut it down, but I think if you take that house in proportion to mine, it's still significantly less.
Sir, I think what you're hearing is that everyone feels that there's way too much glass, and they're also actually, for this style house, the percentage and ratio of glass to wall is too much. Your wall to ratio it's too much. Therefore the board is not finding it harmonious, and you don't have support for the house as it's currently drawn.
No, my question to you is this: when you say that, is that code? So wall to window is a code thing?
If you look through it's not a code thing. There are recommendations in the pamphlets and the design guidelines for the village.
Okay.
And then what the board does is the board looks not just at the amount of windows, but the amount of windows against the style of the house to see if it looks appropriate and to see if it looks harmonious versus other similar structures or what is normally typical in the village. And this is all atypical, to the point that, you're hearing it from everyone, that all the board members, that the proportions are wrong and it makes the building look commercial. And you will find other buildings who've had this opinion for that had to go back and sort of readjust these ratios.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so when do you think you can be ready to come back?
Well, we will be ready by the next hearing. When was that?
That's the 9th. That's the 9th of December, and materials would be due to the building department by the
Tuesday at noon the week prior. So if we're talking about the meeting of December 9th, they would be due on December 3rd.
Yeah, so you think you can get everything done into the building department by December 3rd?
It's the Tuesday after Thanksgiving.
If you can,
probably
great.
not.
Okay.
So
The next one is the 13th of December.
The next meeting after that is the 13th of January.
No.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So we would work towards that date, probably.
The January date?
Yes.
Okay.
Mark, did we ask for public comment?
Yeah, I was
Yes.
gonna
Okay,
say-
okay, thank you.
We did?
I thought we did.
Nobody said a word.
Just making sure.
I'll ask again, but
Public comment?
I thought I did. Okay, so I'm going to motion to accept the applicant's request for an adjournment for 90 Morel Lane to January 13th, 2025. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Okay, moving right along, that brings us up to 1770 Meadow Lane.
Hi, how are you all?
Well, and you're back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Do you have any more updated information about the neighborhood for us?
Whatever, I do, whatever you want to know. I kind of know most of it. And in that vein, I'm Leslie
I
Harwood.
have to ask this question.
Sure.
Do you have the affidavits?
I do
and
have
are they in order?
affidavits
Okay.
for 1770 Meadow, and they're in order. Thank you.
Good. Now I've done my job correctly.
Thank you. I'm Leslie Harwood. My family has owned this house for 37 years. I grew up there with my parents, my brother. I now have 3 children. I'm a grandmother, and we are renovating the house to accommodate 2 more bedrooms, so I have room for the grandchildren. And basically, here with Tom Pedrazi, my architect, Steve Naroda, my landscaper, and we can give you a full presentation on what we're doing. We are keeping the house in exactly the way it is, except just expanding in 2 areas. And I hope you like it. I think we took a tremendous amount of time and effort to really keep it exactly as much as exact as we possibly could. And I'm really proud of the job we did. And
Was
if
this
you have
house
any
in
questions
zoning?
in the neighborhood, let me
Was
know.
this house in front of zoning for a while?
ZBA, yeah.
ZBA,
What is it?
not for a while, just twice.
Okay.
The other one
That's the
was-
other one, yeah. I just remember seeing this
I
house
was on
because I watched
zoning.
those meetings. Okay.
And I believe it received
seen it
special
too many
wetlands
times.
permits.
Yes,
Correct, but
yes.
did not need variances.
But I do,
No
if you want to
variance.
discuss the wetlands, we watered those wetlands for 10 years, not realizing they were wetlands. And that's another whole story
I was
in
looking at it
itself.
coming out of your driveway today.
We're
I
in
was
this,
like, oh
we're
yeah,
here
those are
way
those
to, and the
wetlands
driveway
beside
was
me.
paved for obvious reasons that I told you earlier, but we're now going to change the driveway to make it permeable, and it'll have little stone in it and what they wanted, and we're happy to do that. I think it's great for the neighborhood too. So with that, and we have signs all over for the turns, and we're very careful about the turns. We protect them ourselves. And again, I've lived there my whole life. Southampton's in my blood for always, and my dad was very, very involved in town, although never on any boards, but very, very involved in town politics, saving the beach, and saving the birds as well. So
Great.
I present
Okay.
Tom and Steve.
Oh, look, we have a little model. Okay, go ahead.
Tom Pedrazi, architect for the applicant.
Could you spell your name?
P as in Peter, Edrazzi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also pronounced Pedrazzi. So, thank you, Leslie, for that introduction. This residence, originally built in 1984, has been owned by the same family, the Harwoods, for 4 generations. Over the year, the house has served as a cherished family retreat, but now is in need of update and modernization to accommodate the evolving needs of the evolving family. The renovation will focus on 2 key additions on the north side of this property. Both of them are 2 stories high. The existing height of the existing building does not go up any higher. We set datums at floor heights, which are 8 feet, floor to ceiling, except for the great room, which is in the middle, in front of this big glass wall. Existing glass wall, which is gonna stay. All of this back portion is just gonna be reclad. It's all gonna be, it can't be touched. It's, if we tore down this house, it'd be way for it, unless we go for like 2 years of variances. So, and that also requires all the mechanical systems. So really, the interiors have got renovation, and we took the opportunity, because we're replacing doors and windows and doing all the modernization, to add 2 wings. Now, I know you're all just dying to hear who the architect was. Frank Hollenbach is a celebrated architect based in East Hampton, known for his unique approach to architecture that combined minimalistic simplicity with an organic sense of floating structure. He was also influenced by Wathie Siegel House in East Hampton, and we found that out today from the.
I could say, can you hear me?
I can.
We bought the house from the Locker family. They built it originally for their family. They never moved in. We were the first and only residents in the building. But
Okay.
as it has full circle, Jeff Locker, who was the son of Aaron, who did this house, is now part of the Ingrao design team. And he was with us today talking about the design, so he's very.
In the interest of time, I'm going to ask you to go, let's just go to the renderings
Okay.
and walk us
I
through.
can tell
So,
you more stories.
yes, so really what happens here is we're just adding 2 wings off to the north side, and we're recladding the entire structure. So the vocabulary that we started to set up when we started to sort of mass these elements in the structure and meld that with material was one that, you know, we felt like a good product out in this environment would be a porcelain. This is the porcelain sample that we're proposing, and that's a stacking bond, 24 by 48 stacking bond goes up the house, and all of the interior niches are all shishugi bond, which is sort of a dark brown color, and it also, just to kind of make it break up a little bit, this sort of facade, we actually add the shishugi bond to the larger wing. I mean, you've probably seen the existing house. You were there visiting. So really, it was just pulling out a wing here and pulling out a wing here.
Okay, so I'm going to shorten this out here now.
Good.
So the two wings you're adding actually head toward the street.
Towards the street.
So you're taking the volume on the left and the right of the large windowed center, and you're extending
Pushing
it
it
toward
out.
the street. Okay.
Yes, and we're adding balconies on the east side, and it's just going to be bedrooms on the west side. And we're also adding an addition, which is an extension of the garage off on the west, and then we're going to do a double-story deck. One has, you know, a semi-enclosed space, and the other was completely open to the sky. And the other thing that we're adding on here is a staircase up to a sunset porch, a deck on the top. Still stays within the height regulation because we're about 6 feet underneath the height, you know, what the pyramids or height restrictions allow. But I mean, we feel like the recladding will last forever because porcelain is not going anywhere, and shishugi bond is just as durable and mighty.
Okay, I'm taking it back for a minute. Let's go to the front. So you got two volumes in the front, and the two volumes are coming forward, and that's on the right and the left-hand side. On the left-hand side, you're adding two balconies, right?
That's correct, stacking
Okay.
balconies.
What changes you're making to the east elevation?
The east elevation is basically, we're just adding an extension off of that.
Can you show? Do you have a drawing that shows the public what you're doing? Do you actually have a drawing? Do you have the drawings that you've given to us?
You don't have drawings?
We do. We do.
I didn't. I brought the model.
Well,
Yeah, but
this
the public
is a
can't
drawing.
see the model.
This is a
Okay, so
drawing.
what are you looking for? A plan?
Yeah, these.
Oh, elevations.
Oh, I have
Do you
that.
have the elevations?
I do.
Yeah, just so it's clear to everybody and faster here, I think let's work from elevations for just a second.
Okay.
I do have that.
Okay, so we're gonna go to the west elevation?
Here's what I'm going to do, Lisa. I'm going to give you mine, because it's bigger.
No, I got it.
Yeah, Lisa, stick.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And just go from here, just because these elevations are bigger. And then the camera will be able to see them. And I'll share with you.
Oh, the model looks good on the screen.
Can I just show you in this picture, this is what we have at the present time, this is what it's going to be. And also, this is, the front of the house.
Yes, what I need you to do is just take me through the elevation, so it's clear to
Okay,
everybody.
we're gonna start on the west.
What are
the
you
west
building?
side.
Where's it going?
Okay, on the west side. On the west side, this area right here is the extension, just this area right here. This is all just recladding. Oh, and this portion goes to the north, so this is the extension. But on this facade, it's just this garage extension and two double-decker porches.
Okay. And that's an extension, that garage does not currently exist.
That garage is underneath the house. So it is, but it's tucked underneath the house. So there's a flat facade there. That basically, it tucks underneath the house.
Okay.
So we're pulling that out. We're basically pulling that garage out of the underside of the house.
So the garage that I'm looking at doesn't exist right now, that's an extension.
That's an extension.
Okay.
Yes, clad in porcelain.
Okay. Keep going.
Do you want to go to the north elevation? North elevation is you can see that this wall right here, this big colonnade wall, is staying. We're reglazing it, but it's staying. And then we have two extensions in the post shade areas are two extensions, and then we have the extension of the balcony, the two decks off to the east, to the west.
Okay.
On the south side, it's only the extensions that you're going to be seeing. On the west side, everything else stays the same, just reclad, new fenestration. So that one is just being reclad. And then on the east elevation, it's being reclad, and these windows are just being, we're adding these windows because they're really, actually there are windows, but they're not as many on this facade. And also to note,
So you're adding windows.
we're adding windows, but
Okay.
also to note of is that this is a pre-existing non-conforming setback. We actually had to step that back to get our setback. So that sort of prevented us from just triggering this thing straight to the north, which actually created a nice little corner bay, which actually is got also windows in that bay. If we, so those two windows are right here.
No, we can't see. It's not on the screen.
It's okay. Yeah, I think that would be good. Could we go to this plan? I think it shows a little better.
Yeah.
Because I think I'm confused, and I've gone through these plans.
And it's your house.
Just outline where the
Yeah,
differences are.
this is,
Okay, so
yeah, see the gray.
let's.
That's,
We're just having our.
Yeah, let me.
We're just trying to figure out exactly what you're building.
Exactly.
Yes.
So you see right here, this is what is existing. This dark gray is an extension, that's gonna be a bedroom. This dark gray
Yep. That was
is
that.
also gonna be, is an extension of the bedroom. And this is the porch that's coming out of the side, will be a porch with a new garage underneath.
Okay.
And that's it. The other thing that's new are the stairs.
Okay.
That's it.
So the only actual new construction is the front and that garage.
These two, this little piece here.
Yep.
This box here.
Okay.
This porch and the garage underneath it.
Okay. And the rest is just reclouding what is existing.
Correct.
And are you changing any of the balcony depths, widths, or railing across the back?
Depths?
No.
No, we're
That's
adding,
all stays the same, the pool deck, the
Same.
pool railing, all the same, this upper balcony,
Same.
all the same.
this is, we are, to this little,
Well, that
jut
faces-
out, there's
that's
gonna
the
be
front.
a-
There's two balconies that face.
yeah, the back
front.
is
Yeah.
exactly the same, nothing's
okay.
changing.
Oh, okay.
So really, you're only adding one bedroom,
Two bedrooms.
Two bedrooms.
two bedrooms.
Yeah, one over here, right, there's a little bedroom here, we're extending this wall to make it a little larger.
Okay.
And we're adding a bedroom here, upstairs and down,
Oh, up and down, okay,
Yeah.
got it.
and that's it.
All right. Board members, questions, comments?
Thank you.
Thanks for that clarification there,
Yeah.
that helped a lot, because I love the model, I haven't seen one in so long. I
Models
mean,
are fun.
it's like,
The camera just sees the roof.
the model, look,
Oh, what have I been missing back here?
Exactly.
They were able to film it at an angle, Mark.
But I think the thing that's interesting also, this little jut out here, this is a bedroom, so we're just making it a little bigger, so it's
Yeah,
a little
got
more
it.
comfortable.
Mhm.
And then this will be a bedroom upstairs and then a bedroom down.
Right.
So these are the two bedrooms that are being added, this is just increasing the size of that. And that's it.
My only concern is that, and I'm not familiar with the material, shushugi
Bond.
Very good. You say
Shushugi
it so
bond, which we
perfectly.
have a spawn, shushu.
There is
Yes,
a
exactly.
shushugi bond.
Oh,
There is a
talk about that right
shushugi
now.
bond.
We
Okay,
shouldn't
but,
talk about that one, by the- we
Can't
like the
talk about my
facade
right
of
now.
it.
So the shushugi bond is,
it's a process by which the Japanese created back in the, my son
But
probably
it's from
could.
Oregon, it's not.
No, it actually is a burnt wood, and then it's sort of treated. They sand it, and then they treat it, so it actually petrifies the wood, and they give it a nice grain. You can get darker, you can get lighter, you can pickle it.
Can we make it a little lighter? That was gonna be my concern. It looks so black from up here that I was thinking that it might just
might
look
just be
too
the
black
light.
and white from the street. That was my only concern.
It might
Other
just-
than that, I think your plan
It
sounds
might
great.
just, I mean, I would never say black, it's a dark brown, and I think maybe you're just not getting the right angle.
Well, from looking at your model, it just seems such a stark difference from the porcelain, which I love the porcelain concept.
But isn't that the idea, to have the contrast?
I don't know, it just seems.
We didn't want to go black. There's burnt black. It's just black. Actually, there's ones that have actually the same burning, texture to it, and that's very popular.
Well, I think what you're doing is minimal, and I don't have an issue with what you're doing. That was my only concern, and I wanted to ask about the Shushugi bond because we do have that spot here. So now I got more educated.
Hopefully it opens again.
It will.
Nina?
Good.
Oh, yeah, I feel so bad for them, yeah.
Because I don't know if you recognize me, but I'm a neighbor. And
Yeah, Nina, do you have comments? Can't hear you. Are you on mute?
Shushugiban is great. It's the proportions, it's very massive.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
Massive proportions.
Nice proportions, okay. Susan?
Nice.
I think
Oh,
it's a successful project. I like the materials,
Okay.
but I don't know how to get this back to you. Oh, don't get. And it's actually, the wings recess the light problem, as far as I can tell.
I think it's a very nice
Yeah,
nice
well
upgrade from
done.
what's basically mostly
Unusual.
existing. So, any comments from the public?
And kudos to the permeable driveway.
Oh, yeah, the permeable.
Oh, no.
Okay.
And also one of the first geothermal heat pumps.
I understand your comment, but I think that the color looks a little dramatic in a nice way.
Me too.
I love black and white, but it just.
I think the window colors heading the front are.
They're going to be like a dark.
So it's the white at
Yeah.
the white. Yeah. Okay. All right. So with that, I'm going to motion to approve the application for 1770 Meadow from drawings dated.
I took your set.
We don't need it anymore.
Yes, I do.
Oh, he does.
Well, I need the drawings date from it.
Oh.
From drawings dated 10/01/24. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's a beautiful house.
Thank you. Thank you, Steve.
Thanks for bringing the model.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that brings us to 375 Ox Pasture to construct a two-story single-family residence and pool house.
You owe me some plans back. Some plans.
Getting there.
These little ones, come on.
Do you have the affidavits?
Yes, I did receive affidavits.
And are they in order?
For 375 Ox Pasture Road. They are in order. Thank you to the attorney who handed these to me. Thank you.
You know what, while you guys are setting up, we're gonna take 4 minutes here
Yeah.
for a quick bio break
That'd
for
be
your
great.
board members.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, you guys can lay out, you guys can lay out.
Yeah, put out all your stuff. I'm taking it. I turned it down when I got in here too. Oh, my God.
375 Ox Pasture, this is to construct a new two-story single-family residence and pool house.
Yeah, good evening,
Wait, are
board
we
members.
back?
Oh, yes,
We're so-
he did say he had the posting.
I'm sorry. Do we need to wait for Susan?
Yes, I will tell you when to start.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
And we're bringing back Nina as well, so
What?
we're bringing back Nina as well.
Oh, okay.
We'll get everyone back for you. Is Nina back?
Oh, but we're not that bad.
Let's get a sign back in.
Oh, okay.
Mark, I don't know if you have a number for her. You might have to let her know she has to rejoin the Zoom.
I'm ready when you are.
Okay, hang on.
Do they have the,
Sage, is Nina on?
Nope.
Okay, hang on. Tell her to rejoin.
oh, yeah.
Okay, she'll rejoin. We can go ahead and start while she rejoins.
Okay, good evening, board members. I'm Liz Vale. I'm an attorney with Greenberg Traurig. We're located at 2317 Montauk Highway in Bridgehampton, and I'm here tonight with Bill Beaton of Beaton and Company, Eric Peterson of Architectural Works, Brian Von Hagen of Building Details, and Michael Derrig of Landscape Details and Building Details. We're all here on behalf of the applicant for the single-family residence and accessory structures proposed at 375 Ox Pasture Road. I'm going to turn it over to the architects to proceed with reviewing the application with you. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, good evening.
Long evening for you?
The client's request was for a family home on Ox Pasture that would be appropriate to the neighborhood, and to keep it simple within the vernacular of the village, we went with a colonial revival approach, kind of early 20th century, in a creative kind of way, so that we could break the mass of the house down with sort of a central part that is the white part with it, the main entry, and then breaking the rest of the house down into the other bedrooms and the garage, attached garage and porte cochere. And to the rear, we have what they call the barn room as a family room, and rear terrace and enclosed screened porch on the north side of the property. The pool house was intended to be a small functional building for sitting by the pool with games inside and a ping pong table that can be rolled out, fireplace for the cooler evenings, and extensive gardens and landscape to soften everything, bring in the trees and give it a very relaxed family home feel.
Okay, do you have your elevations with you? Why don't you take us through elevation by elevation?
So this is this property that has two front yards, correct?
Correct.
I had worked on this previously. And so you got a variance to put the pool, or how'd that work?
We got a variance for the
Yeah,
pool.
no, it looks good. I just was curious what the resolution
It was a tricky, tricky
What?
one. It was a bit tricky to just
Yeah.
to have to deal with that and being cognizant of the neighbors' positions of their homes and how
Okay.
to work with that. But we came to a good resolution.
And I can confirm it was modified and did meet the zoning board's approval for
Right,
a
it
variance.
just
in the
went
front
on
yard.
and on. So I went back here.
Okay.
So the front elevation in the Dutch Gambrel Colonial Revival style, with a simple front porch and large cottage-style windows on the first floor, shutters, and then breaking the mass down, going that's facing south, so going to the east, breaking the mass down into the kitchen areas and garage and bedrooms above, and then the barn room to the rear on the east side. On the west side, we have a library with a small sunroom area and the master primary bedroom deck above, other guest rooms, and you can see the porte cochere to the west and the east. The garage we try to keep as simple as possible for the positioning on the front of the house to break the mass down and allow for a separate service area. On the north side, coming across, like we have bedrooms and then a terrace and the dining room facing a large bank of windows in the dining room facing to the north, since it's north light, the screened porch, and the barn room and an outdoor barbecue kitchen, sort of. We tried to, the client was interested in materiality, so that the house didn't appear as one kind of monolithic building, but keeping it in variations of the natural cedar and white painted surfaces, either as accents, playing off the main portion, which is a white painted clapboard. And so just staying within the vernacular of the kind of colonial arrival idea. And let's see, did I go over that?
Yeah, I think you went over that. Yeah,
The
we're just
west-
going back to the front.
Oh, back to the east side and the front. We have a very small elements of stone, kind of a field stone. We brought some samples of, the idea is to have the brick painted as well as the stone in a kind of lime wash, so it appears to be kind of aged and softened as much as we possibly can. Let's see, the shutters are a raised panel, shutter in a dark green. So the color palette, we have samples of the paint, the white, aged brick, as I said.
Thanks.
There is an existing tree on the property that we love, unfortunately, right in the middle of where the houses would go, and so we are trying to replace it with a new tree that will grow over time, hopefully to the magnificent stature of the one that's there, which we just can't keep. But it's pretty heavily landscaped as an approach.
What about materials, the shutter materials?
The shutter is a traditional wood shutter with the classic hardware.
And the window colors are?
The windows are white.
And the mullions?
The mullions and muntins are all white.
Everything's white, okay. And for all this fieldstone, the idea is to paint the fieldstone?
To lime wash it.
To lime wash it.
There are really only a few areas of it.
Yeah.
There's, the base of the house will have stone on it, but it's not as, the intention is not to have to lime wash all of that. There's only one, the exposed chimney that's stone in the barn room has an exposed outside surface, so that I didn't have to bring the mass of that chimney all the way down on the east side, building it into the wall so that it kind of thickens that wall up. And there's a stone chimney on the pool house, the majority of which is undercover in the pool house. And then there's a little bit of stone on the back of the house on the primary the first floor guest room. So there's not tremendous amount of stone exposed, but just to keep it in kind of the painted look of the aged brick, we were proposing to do it as a lime wash.
The samples are right
If you put those on the table, we can pick them up on the camera.
You can't pick them up. It's okay.
No, don't pick
Don't
that
pick
up.
them up. We can see them.
We can see
them.
it. Stop.
Yeah.
Don't hurt yourself.
All right.
And then maybe overkill, but.
Okay, board members, questions, comments? Do you want to take us through the landscape plan?
Sure. Michael could address that.
Good evening, I'm Michael Derrick, landscape architect with landscape details. Our approach to
Could
this
you
was to...
sit so you could get a little closer to the microphone,
Yeah,
just so
sure.
we could pick you up?
Pick you up.
Absolutely.
You probably should repeat your
Yeah,
name.
just restate your name.
Let me know, is Nina back?
Derrick, D-E-R-R-I-J.
One second, sir, is Nina back?
Yeah.
Great, okay, go ahead.
It's, we designed the landscape to complement the home and not to take away from it. And we have you drive, off from Max Pasture, and you drive into a center court, which is centered on the front door. We have an oval, and you drive around. And we have through the portico share, and then also we have another road, part of the driveway that, where we'd be parking most of the cars in the back there by the garage area. And we have one large tree that we plan on putting in the center oval to kind of break down the mass of the house and to make it look old, right? I mean, the house, I think Bill did a great job making the house look like it's been there for forever. A brand new house, looks pretty amazing. And we have small amount of landscaping. The owner was very big on not having a privet hedge, you know, a wall across the front of the house. So she wants to have, you know, we're gonna have pockets of plantings that have various heights along the property line on ox pasture, so that you can get views into the house, so it doesn't look like she's just very against privet and hedges and stuff like that. So
That'll save them a lot of money.
yeah, exactly.
Let me tell you, people that are against privet saves them a lot of money.
I'm gonna have to be okay with that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to let
Since
that
I'm
one go.
maintaining.
Yeah, as long as the alternate isn't Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, because, you know, so we have plenty of them on the neighboring property, which actually worked well for us. But it really is a quite simple landscape, as you can see. It's really, you know, has flowering trees, certain shade trees. We haven't gotten into, you know, specific, the larger circles mean shade trees, the smaller circles mean ornamental trees such as cherries, Japanese maples, crepe myrtles, magnolia trees. We have, you know, on the west side of the house, we have like a garden outside the library area, which is gravel path and brings you through into the backyard. Pool orientation, after the ZBA meeting, we changed the orientation, we brought it in, and kind of sits in the middle of the property because we had to have such a large setback from Merrily Drive. You know, we have directly off the back of the house, we have a lawn parterre before you get to the pool, and then on the other side of the pool it jumps over, we have more of an organic line in the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions?
We're about to find out.
Yeah.
Board members, questions?
I just want to say that I really like the mixed materials and the fact that it doesn't look like it was just built yesterday, that it looks like it's been around for a while. And it obviously put a lot of thought and effort into that. I wasn't so sure about the stone, but the fact that it's lime washed like that, I don't mind it. I really like the brick. Wasn't so sure when I first looked at it if I was gonna like the all the different siding elements, but I think it works. So.
Okay. Susan?
I think I'm sort of overwhelmed by it because I had to work on the other part of it. I'm just amazed that there's actually anything built, so, and able to be built, by the way. But I think you actually did a good job of that by being fairly respectful of the setbacks, because it's tight. And this is a big house. I think it doesn't actually, well, there are some, it's a little, like the stone is not, I always think, well, if you wanna have stone, you have to drive to Connecticut or Rhode Island, but I actually kind of like it on this house, and it's not so much, and it breaks it up. I think the breaking up of the space, which is pretty big, is successful, and the color palette is certainly successful. So, I like it.
Nina?
Nina, you're on mute.
Hi, Nina.
So sorry. No, I was just agreeing with Susan and Jane that the facade is elegantly broken up and there's a lot of variety. The palette of materials is blending in with the neighborhood and with the landscape of the green traditional shutters and the, you call that a porte cochère for the car under the arch? It's beautiful, and the round circular driveway, sort of a little bit of mystery behind the trees. I think it's really well done. And I like the exposed brick on the fireplace entry. It was beautifully done.
What do you know?
I would tell you the only thing that really gives me pause is the stone, because it's, you know, stone foundations and stone bases aren't something that's sort of normal that you see in Southampton, because you didn't have fields full of stones that people took. You know, in Connecticut, when they cleared the field, you had the stones and they became walls, and that's how it became Connecticut. So the I think the rhythm of the house is beautiful. I think the massing and the siding of the house is beautiful, and I'm apparently
think
the only
you
one.
just give 'em the
But I
stone
think,
and let 'em
but I
have
think,
it.
but I think the stone just makes it feels to Lindley like the house is sited in Connecticut versus Southampton, but apparently I'm in the
A whole
minority.
string of houses on
Yeah.
that street. I don't know, I think it's refreshing in a certain
And it's
way.
minimal, it's
Yeah,
not,
it's
it's not
not in your
overkill, it's
face.
minimal, it's the lime
All right.
wash looks good.
I agree
I
with
told,
you.
I told that was my only comment,
Okay.
because it.
I agree with you. I have
Because
the
it,
same
it just, I
feeling.
feel like it's cited
But I like
in the
it.
wrong state.
But I think it's,
But I think from a design and use of
There's
material,
not that much of
designing,
it.
use of materials and stuff, I think, and stuff, I think it's quite beautiful. And I think its proportion is beautiful. I think the rhythm of the house is very, very nice. That was my one quibble, but apparently I'm outvoted on it.
And I just wanted to let you know, if you're not putting a hedge up, you're probably not gonna have a fence, and so you better have some.
yeah, have deer-proof, whatever.
Yeah,
Are
Yeah,
you good
and
at that?
maybe
Yeah,
like
we
think
can
of
deal
some.
with it.
Yeah. Don't scare them before they get
I'm
here.
just letting you know, and some
Yeah,
maybe
we're familiar
more
with it.
indigenous.
I don't know
type
what
of-
it's like over there. It's,
All right, do we
Oh.
have any comments from the public?
I'm surprised that the neighbors. Nothing?
Nothing? All right.
Oh.
So with that, I'm gonna move to approve, motion to approve 375 Oxford. Ox- 375 Ox pasture from drawings dated. I'm gonna go with.
October 16th.
Yep, from drawings dated October 16th, 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Thank you
That-
very much.
Okay.
We appreciate it.
Beautiful
Thank you,
house.
board members. Happy Thanksgiving.
And a thorough presentation, which we appreciate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, moving us up, 130 Powell.
Yeah, no, I think the presentations have done pretty good, actually, considering the new one. Here we go. Oh, yeah, that was
Chair, I have affidavits in order for 130 Powell. Thank you.
now do we have to
Great.
know how old this is, because it might be. Or not. This is old. I personally like this old house. Is it a demo?
Might block our
Supposedly,
view a little bit, but I figured
This
it might be.
is, it's a demo evaluation of existing dwelling constructed two-story residence.
Do we have a date on it?
No, we don't have a date on it.
Oh, here's the map.
Well, maybe they'll surprise, maybe they'll supply us with this information.
Charles Halsey.
Let's start with the
Yeah,
existing,
we have
let's
to
start with
first
the
deal with
existing
the
house.
fact that there is a house there, gentlemen.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about the house that's there? What I see is it's,
Here.
okay,
That it was there before.
okay.
It's not in good shape.
It's not a good thing.
No. I love
There's no one has ever walked, no one has ever walked in here and said, hey, we have a house we'd like to tear down that's in great shape.
Face yourself, yeah. This way they'll be able to show it on the screen and then Nina can see it.
Okay.
Hello there. Good evening. My name is Daniel Gomes, and this is Adrian Toscano, the owner of.
So some spelling is in
so-
order.
Sorry. I'll go first. Daniel Gomes, Gomes.
Okay.
Adrian Vuhin, and I'm the homeowner.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Zachary did do a, I guess, a report
Oh,
on
he
the.
did?
Yes, I have it, a copy here with me. If you.
We gave it in, so it should be
Yeah.
in the copy
Should
there.
have maybe. Okay. I don't
He did an
know.
evaluation.
If not, you can have this copy.
What does it actually say?
That there was no significant historical.
He checked off all the no
Oh, yeah,
boxes
maybe I
for
did
the.
see it.
Yeah.
Sadly. Okay.
Yeah, so, okay.
Okay. Moving
Sorry,
on.
it's getting late, but I want to
All
say,
right.
what do you mean this isn't bad disrepair?
It is, but
Okay,
it has a
so,
charm.
okay, hang on.
And then the tree right next to it is just falling down as well.
See this house?
Okay, so the question becomes, board members, is
We-
anybody
we-
here is going to support landmarking in this house?
No, I wouldn't.
Okay, Jane?
I won't.
We'll just be sad. All right,
Just
so,
be sad.
so first thing to deal with is a motion that the architecture reviewer will not pursue landmarking for 130 Powell Avenue. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, now we can go to the house.
Okay. I have the renderings here. If I guess zoom in on them. Tonight we're proposing a new 3,490 square foot residence that contains 5 bedrooms and 5.5 bathrooms. The shingle style home we are proposing will have a rear covered porch with 10-inch square HB&G or Chadsworth style columns. The exterior siding will consist of a perfection wood cedar shingle with a 5.5-inch exposure and woven corners. The base of the residence will have a brick veneer water table as opposed to an
If we
exposed
could get that on the
concrete.
screen for Nina, that would be great. Go ahead.
And the brick color will be a Glengarry and white Lorraine. The windows will be an Anderson A-series. It's a casement window with a 2x2 mutton bar and Anderson's pre-manufactured color in dove gray. The trim, 4.5-inch wood trim, will also be white, and that'll match the exterior cedar shingles. The frieze boards and rake boards will also have a white wood trim, and I also have a material board for some of the, after we get the renderings up. The front entry door we are proposing is a Therma-Tru shaker-style door with also a 2x2 mullion bar to match the casement windows. The roofing will be a natural cedar shake roof, and we are also proposing a 280 square foot pool cabana that will have an attached trellis that will also match the styling of the residence. There's also a proposed in-ground swimming pool that is 18 by 36. And let me bring the material boards. Do you want to see the renderings first before I flip over the?
Yeah.
We're interested in the structure, yeah. And it's white painted, is that correct?
It's, yes, a Mabec white, usually double dipped from the factory, a white shingle.
White cedar shingle, yeah.
Natural wood cedar roof. It's a pretty traditional looking Hampton shingle style home. The garage door will also be mahogany in color to match the front door. So it'll bring in a little bit of that wood element to the white facade. The property is very elongated, so we tried to do like an almost...
Use the length.
Yeah, same thing with the swimming pool and the pool cabana. We tried to, since it is an elongated piece of property, we tried to kind of work around that. There was a previous application on, I think last year for 130 Powell, but it was more of a colonial style home, so we took your recommendation to kind of stretch out the house. I do have that.
What's upside down?
These are all the proposed materials and kind of references. Color palette. The front door is a shaker style by Therma-Tru. It'll be painted in mahogany to match the garage doors to the right.
Painted mahogany?
Or mahogany. If it's true mahogany, we'll just leave it, but if not, we'll paint it to match the style of the garage door.
Are the garage doors mahogany or are they painted mahogany?
Are they stained? Are they natural? What are they?
Clopay makes them in true mahogany, so we'll probably, I think Therma-Tru is a fiberglass product, so we'll probably paint it to match. I don't think they make a
that's
true
not-
mahogany door.
That's not really.
That's not a mahogany garage door.
No,
It's a
it's-
Clopay garage door.
yeah,
Mahogany garage
it's
door
not-
would weigh
Weigh
1,000 pounds
3,000
and
pounds.
be,
Yeah, no.
and be
Good
an
luck.
So,
extremely
yeah.
expensive
so
garage door.
mahogany, I guess, is the
And
goal we're
importing-
looking
that's-
for. That's
importing
not
not
dark.
like-
will soon be
The mahogany's
impossible.
Not
So
really.
Get the paintbrush out, okay. So do we have the color of that? It's brown, is it on here?
I think that Clopay door is called mahogany.
Oh, okay, got it.
I think that's actually the
I
paint
got it.
color name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's right.
because you need Genghis
I
Khan
could-
to
I-
open a mahogany garage door.
I would
Okay.
change that, to be honest.
Okay.
Couldn't happen.
I heard mahogany door, but then I heard painted mahogany, so that's what made me question.
No,
Yeah.
you're right to question.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, that was my mistake.
If you're gonna pay for mahogany, why are you painting it?
Yeah,
That's right, the question, yeah.
I'm a little confused about the windows. Do they have,
The windows will be they're Anderson A-series. The pre-manufactured color is a dove gray.
Like that.
but
But
do they
the-
have?
What about the mullions and the
Yeah,
muntins?
that was my question, because it looks like in that one right there, that looks like you have
The mullions
It
in
would
there?
be, it would be all that grey.
No, but
All
I'm
that-
talking about the mullions.
What about
They
I
look
can't-
black in that drawing.
Oh.
That's just a sample, I believe.
Yes,
And that's
this
the
is just-
interior.
Correct, yes.
And interior, we're doing
Okay,
white.
on
so,
the-
yeah.
No, no, no.
On
the
your
question is-
opposite
oh,
side, it doesn't look like there are any.
Oh, this is just a reference sample for the Maybach
Right,
cedar
so
shingles. I'm
are you
sorry.
going to have the,
Well, it's going to mimic this, the 2x2. It's going to mimic the
What color
Oh.
is the mullions and the muntins in the window?
dove gray.
Okay. The whole thing is dove gray.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
you don't have black
No.
grillwork,
no,
framework,
no.
mullions,
The
muntins,
trim
nothing
around will
between
be
these.
white
Okay.
exterior. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's,
It's all
that's,
dove
what-
gray.
Okay.
that's what the question was.
Yeah.
Okay.
My apologies.
Good
no problem. No,
Okay.
just because the other side, it doesn't look like there are there. That-
Oh yeah, sorry. That's more for the just a reference of the cedar shake, the woven corner, as opposed to a corner board.
So this is.
So that shouldn't
that's-
be a reference for the window.
Okay.
Can we see the other side again?
Yeah,
Because
sure.
we don't have those in our packet. So like what you're.
So it's
what-
hard to see it. It's
Yeah,
hard
you're
to see it
showing
on
us
the
black
image.
windows,
Yeah,
like-
Like you can you can.
Yeah.
If you, do you want to see
Yeah.
it?
It's very light. I'm sorry about that. On the rendering.
Oh,
it
okay,
isn't, but
okay.
It's
all
just the dark poche kind of covers
right.
it.
Yeah.
It's just hard to see with the camera, I guess.
And that does look like a different door there. Yes? The window looks bigger on that door.
Yeah. So that has the mullion in it too.
Yeah, this is the actual product of the. It's actually this. So it's kind of. I would almost call it, instead of a half light, almost kind of in between a 3/4 and half.
Oh, wait a
It's
minute.
that shaker style.
Okay, but
It
that's,
looks different than
yeah.
the door on the other side.
that's a 4-panel door. Is the door you're proposing is not that door
No, it is this door.
with 4 panels,
Yes.
Yes.
4 lights?
Yes. It's
Okay.
that rendering you can't.
Yeah, the
The rendering is not.
So that's the big,
It's
Yeah, you can't see the
The-
separation
yeah.
due to the marker.
Oh, were those color renderings submitted as part of the
No.
file?
No.
Okay,
Not
we're
yet.
gonna need the digital copies of those.
All right.
And hard copies for the building.
Sure.
Thank you.
My only actually concern is that your garage door
oh,
is right up against the front door.
front
You,
piece.
you pulled into the garage right here.
Yeah, and then the front entry is.
Yeah, there's no, there's no there's no setback from the front entry to where the garage door is on the house, which is architecturally odd.
That it sets back in the front entry.
But it doesn't. It's to the width of your entry is the garage door. Feels very tight.
It is a little tight. It is also an oversized, I think, garage door. I think we have a 9-foot
You've got a
garage
20
door.
foot, you've got a 20-foot 6-inch garage bay in there, but just to have a garage door be that tight off the front door will look visually odd. And I'm not sure from a harmonious standpoint and proportion standpoint, that makes a lot of sense. See, because when you see where the front door is, the garage door is right there,
Where's the front door? Right there?
right there. So there's no setback to the garage off the front door, which I feel is odd.
I mean, we could. I believe there's. I think there's maybe 2 feet of setback from the side other side. Is that right? We could slide that garage portion.
We're very close to that setback.
Are we?
Yeah.
It's just jammed in.
It's just jammed in. There's other houses like this. When you drive by and look at it, what you see is the garage door and the front
How
door
many
together. and
bedrooms do you have?
It's a
Five.
5-bedroom house.
Yeah.
So there's parking for that? There's the garage? And 3 other?
Yeah, there's.
Yeah, the
so
site
there's-
plan, we do show the parking spaces
Just
for
like
the,
you look out the front door and
let me put, actually,
that's
the
an odd
site plan.
configuration. That is an atypical configuration for a garage than you would normally see in the village, to have the garage door slammed up against the front door like that. And I think it's visually odd. Now, the question becomes, with the depth of the garage you have in there, do you have enough room to shorten that up and give yourself a little breath there?
Well,
Because
with
your
the
garage is 20,
setback-
because your garage is 20 feet 6 inches. What's your minimum depth of a garage?
20.
Yeah, it's a 12 by 20 interior garage. It's
It's tight.
Tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that when your garage door slams up against your front door, I think it's just visually odd and atypical of Southampton. I don't know it's harmonious with the rest of that neighborhood. I think, for the most part, I think the work you're doing, the rhythm, your choices are good. That's the one that I think if you actually see that, it's a mistake. It'll look like a mistake.
This is the side yard setback. We could slide it down, maybe it looks 2 feet to the side yard.
Well, my suggestion would be that you take another look at that, just because I think that's visually odd.
Okay.
Do you have any recommendations in terms of?
We don't.
No, we
Sure,
don't
no, no,
do that.
We don't
no
design
worries,
them,
no
we
worries.
just comment
Sorry.
on them. That's so the rule here.
You wouldn't want to listen to it. Don't do
Yeah.
that.
Your,
Don't go there.
your site plan shows a driveway gate. Are there plans for a driveway gate? Because I didn't
No.
see elevations.
All right.
So,
Where's the?
So, Nina, any
There's no
comments?
garage gate.
There's an enlarged site plan, looks like that was provided, that shows
Nina,
a
do you see what I'm
driveway
talking
gate.
about where the garage door is next to the front door?
she can't see
There's just like
any
no
of it.
breadth
the
between them?
sand pool
Yeah, she can't-
landscape
She
plan?
can't see this.
I think
Oh.
so.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
that was just
She doesn't get the plans, does she? Maybe in the Dropbox.
Okay.
You could probably zoom in.
Are there any comments from the public?
No.
Okay.
It's Lisa's work.
I think I think what you're hearing is that for the most part, people are finding your materials nice. They like the veneer setting. The one thing that is
Just that
bugged
entry.
is odd is the way the garage is set into the house this way.
okay.
Is there a way to get into the garage from another way?
Well,
Too tight.
I don't know if they could come back this way. It's
Yeah.
just that wall on the
You
house.
can't do it, right?
It's
Come
just
in
all
the
sort of
other way.
jammed in there. It needs either a setback or a breadth or something to make it feel more sophisticated
And they need
in
the
its
parking,
arrangement.
right? Okay.
All right,
Okay.
so do you think
Come
you can
back.
think about that and come back by December 9th?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So motion to accept the applicant's request for an adjournment to December 9th
Second. Oh,
for 130 Powell. Is there a second?
second.
All in favor? Aye.
All
Aye.
right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
great
Thank
night.
you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
There's one
Okay,
gate.
then we have a gate. I believe it's Lisa
That's
who's
Lisa.
in the back.
I don't know.
We should probably take a break first.
No, because Sage will kill me. Not taking a break.
We're not taking
So with
any
Nina, we're
break.
not cutting her off. All right.
All right,
Oh,
last
wow.
but not least.
Is this 242 South Main Street?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, I have your affidavits in the record,
I was
thank
about
you.
to say, and are they in order?
They are.
And this is
242.
historic, so we're talking about a certificate of appropriateness.
Yep.
If you say so, sir.
Yep. Okay.
Well, it looks like other gates. So you
I
might
feel
get it.
anticlimactic.
Would you, actually, let's see, you okay?
Can you show, can they?
It's
I'm
on the
seeing
thing,
out.
Okay.
Well, it has the oh, it's this house.
Okay. We can work on this house forever. All right, take us through the materials and the height and the dimensions.
All right, I'll leave this here and
Okay.
why not pull one closer. Okay, so we have a proposed gate on South Main Street. It's proposed to be 18 feet off of the street. The brick piers on either side are 7 feet high. They're 2'1" by 2'1" square, and they're painted white. The gate is 3/4 inch square pickets, and they are also painted white, the same white as the trim of the house. You can see the lower panels on the bottom with a little cove detail to them. The actual gate part to the highest point is 5.5 feet high. And you can see down below the 40% open area. And then also included in the package were many pictures of all of the, it's right across the street from all that spindle fence. So I think it's right in keeping with the character.
What size is what size is the lot?
I don't know. I don't have the survey with me. Do you have the survey? I don't have the survey.
Let me just go to square footage.
It's pretty big. 'Cause the house
Yeah.
is big,
I just want on the I want it on the record that it's.
and we're not gonna get it.
Okay, well, we will just hang on. Are the dimensions on here?
city behind it.
I know, but anything on there will tell me that it's more than 40,000 square feet.
Up there, no?
No, those are all the plants.
Oh, sorry.
All right, well, I can promise you it's more than 40,000 square feet.
You want me to look?
We don't have a thing to look at.
There's
Oh,
no
you don't
measurement.
have, you don't have.
We
We
have
don't have
a
a survey.
landscape, we don't have a survey.
Oh.
I'm comfortable that
We're
it's,
good.
I'm comfortable that it's large enough against our policy for 4.6 gates.
Okay, and originally there were 2 driveway entrances, they've knocked
Yeah.
it down to 1,
Yeah,
so.
Yeah.
that's good.
All right,
It's in the
board.
historic district.
Is it 40% transparent?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Huge.
Okay.
Yeah, here, you can sort of,
Yes.
Oh, okay, because looking at this,
yeah.
it doesn't seem that
That's it.
transparent.
Well, that's somebody else's.
Somebody else's gate.
I thought we were on 242.
Yeah,
We
but
are.
that's just the neighbor's
She
gate.
just put, she put pictures of other gates in the area.
That's the neighbor's gate.
Okay, sorry.
This is,
That's
like, this is,
okay.
this is the current picture of the property now, there's no.
I
All right.
did see that.
Nina,
I did see that.
I know, it took me a minute too.
Nina, any comments?
Can't hear
Sorry,
it.
it looks good.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to motion to move to written decision to approve the gate proposed for 242 South Main Street from drawings dated, dear
10/28.
10/28/2024. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Muchas gracias.
It was a long night for that. By the way, in the future for this, you could have come in by Zoom.
You know something, I don't, I mean,
know,
I
but you-
get it, but I'm not really as,
Yeah.
like, I do Zoom when I'm in Mexico, and then
I remember, but just, okay, motion to adjourn.
February's coming.
Motion to
Motion to
adjourn
adjourn.
the September 25th meeting of the Board of Architecture, Review and Historic Preservation. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.